What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man, Cam. It is April 3rd, 2024. Thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. We get the show started each and every week, Cleveland, just like this.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name is Cameron.
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford right here.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy? I want to get some of this guy.
Of course, I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment.
I'm staying there to try to make a change. Give back to the youth, give back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter. The fighter works for the promoter.
Okay.
If you can see, you can believe.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
On your team, his ball number is that number 2 option or your number 3 option? On King's team, 30 nights a year, he's my number 1 option. 30 nights.
Can I finish?
Right now?
Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about these upcoming?
Okay. Like I was saying before.
Well, every game's a new game, so each one's a different experience, different defense, different players, different game plan. So.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve,
You were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
Real ones know what's going on, right?
Like you said, Pacific Northwest, so I think it's a big part of my game, and every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn to win a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm happy
Yeah,
for the whole
yeah,
team.
no, yeah, Cam, nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
Look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do
Real surprised at that, Cam.
Hey, come here. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's Big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sports. Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do.
Yeah. I got a bone to pick with Q. We're going to get to that, too. We're going to get to that a little later on. But I got a bone to pick with you, Q, right now. You saw my dog, Snoop Dogg, in the video. But I got a bone to pick with Q, Cleveland. I'm not sure if you heard his blabbering on. But, yeah, Q, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you tonight, Q. You be ready. What's going on, man? Happy after Easter podcast, after Wednesday, man. I hope the spring is as what Bismarcky used to say. It's spring again. Everybody knows it's spring again. Cleveland, how's the weather up there in the Northwest, man?
We're a cool 55 right now. Partly sunny.
Partly sunny. What was 80 yesterday? Wednesday, 80 on Monday, 85 on Tuesday, and a cool 65 today. Well, I tell you, man, this is what they say. You don't like the weather here, just look the other direction and wait a minute. The weather's going to change on you quickly, and that's what it does here in Bama. So it's a little pretty interesting how the weather just changed like that, and we're looking at 65 the next couple of days. But I mean, anything better than that damn humidity that's coming. I know it's right on the brink. Anything is better than that, though. So I'll take a little cool air, fresh air that we got over the last couple of days. But fans, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys all enjoyed your Easter. Hope you guys enjoyed some. We got college basketball Cleveland to talk about this week. We got some NBA. We got NFL trades that. Oh my goodness, we got a blockbuster trade, Cleveland. I can't wait to hear your feedback on this dude. You know, as I talk about DeAndre Swift, as I mentioned several times, I don't understand how he's on his third team in 3 years. I truly don't understand. But we got another guy chasing him down. There's another pivotal player chasing him down, and I can't understand why. I do. It's clear now what this issue is. But guys leaving. I will get to it later. But we got some NFL trades. One kind of pushed by a player. We got the NBA. NBA is the playoff chase is serious business right now. The playoff chase is serious business right now, Cleveland. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with this time of the season because you like to talk about individual players and what they mean to a team and then how they can impact the team. But Cleveland, this is a team basketball game. This is a team basketball game. And right now, it's some teams rising to the top, and there's some teams kind of falling by the wayside. We're going to talk about what you think of the Golden State Warriors and what they're doing and the Phoenix Suns. I mean, are you impressed with the Phoenix Suns, Cleveland? If you can't be impressed with the Phoenix Suns, I mean, we've been waiting for them to kind of get on to hit a rhythm, to hit stride, but they just seem to disappoint night in, night out. I mean, I can't think of come to my mind. I can't even think of a big win they've had all season. But here they go. They have a chance to play against a Cleveland Cavaliers, who Cleveland I know has no faith and no hope in going anywhere in the NBA playoffs. But they have a chance to do something. Would you be impressed if they put it on the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, Cleveland?
No, I'm not that enamored with Cleveland. So they're fighting for their playoff lives, trying to hold off Houston for that last play-in spot. So yeah, win as many games against those Eastern Conference teams as you can.
Who they trying to hold off, Cleveland? What team are they trying to hold off?
The Houston Rockets. I mean, they got a pretty good hold on them now. I mean, for a minute there, it was kind of nip and tuck, but they kind of got him in the
I mentioned the Houston Rockets going to the playoffs at the beginning of the season. I got laughed at,
and
they try to laugh me off my own show
because they're not a playoff team.
We'll see. We'll see about that. Well, maybe they can win a game in the play-in and get to the play. Well, they'd have to win 2, but maybe they can win a couple games and get into the playoffs. You never know with these things because that play-in tournament in the West is wide open. Those little bottom feeders in the Western Conference hovering in playing around in the playoff play-in tournament. Come on, let me see if you did your homework. Cleveland, what NBA team has the most play-in tournament wins in NBA history?
Well, Cameron, there's only been one play-in tournament to this point, so
no. We're like 3 seasons into the play-in tournament now. So I didn't say that. I didn't say that preseason
play-in tournament.
Phony baloney.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't say that.
That setup earlier.
Baloney.
It's the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh,
you did. Okay. You did bring that. Superfluous stat up earlier, man. Means nothing.
Once again, fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning into week 286 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Let's get the show started, Cleveland. We get the show started each and every week with our numbers game, Cleveland. When you think of the number 3, who wore that jersey first, or who do you think of? Who wore that jersey the best, or who do you think of first? I'm gonna go first tonight.
Okay.
When I think of the number 3, Cleveland, there's only 2 who came to my mind first was probably Dale Ellis because I met him at the gas station, and then Dana Barros, the 3-point sharpshooter from the Seattle Supersonics. Do you remember Dana Barros, Cleveland?
Me and Dana Barros got into such an altercation I almost ended up in jail one time.
Let's go on. Let's hear about this one.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to get into particulars. I'm just going to say, he thought a little bit too highly of himself, and it almost got tragically ugly. Yeah.
Ooh, Dana Barrows, because Dana, Dana was a rapper back in the day. Dana was
never a rapper.
Dana was a rapper. He had videos. He had rap videos out. What are you talking about?
He was a 3-point shooter from Boston College who thought too highly of himself and almost,
Oh, there's a man. I touched the nerve right there. I didn't even know it, fans.
Oh, Dan.
What's up? What's up, Barry? I didn't even know it. All right, so when you think of the number 3, man, you're gonna go with the all-time greatest Mariner, Alex Rodriguez.
When I think of the number 3 as of right now in present, I'm thinking of quite a bit of Russell Wilson and just kind of that whole situation that's going on over in Pittsburgh and just how that's going to play itself out. Who are the best is obviously Babe Ruth.
Okay. When you think of the number 86 Cleveland, Brian Brennan has to come to your mind first, right? The wide receiver, the 86, the wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, in the dog pound. Do you remember that guy?
I do remember the original slot receiver playing over there with. This is how much I remember the Cleveland Browns over there with Webster Slaughter. And
look at him! Look, he going deep. He going deep in the Cleveland Browns.
I remember that team very vividly. They should have beat the Broncos 2 times.
I was sick. No, I was sick. The drive had to hurt, man. I don't know how many Cleveland
first time was so ridiculous, pinning him on the 2. Oh yeah, D-Way did wear the 3 very nicely. Boots, good looking. AI did win an MVP. But when they pinned them on the 2, man, I'm like, that was the original, New England Patriots offense. Just 5-yard slant, all the way down the field. Oh, my God. Gross.
I mean, John Elway was a beast. And then, if that wasn't worse, if that wasn't the worst, we're going to get back to the numbers again. I still want to hear what Cleveland have to say about number 86. But the Cleveland Brown fans, I hate to bring this up, but we just got to relive the moment, this couple of years. If it wasn't bad enough to watch John Elway march down the field on you guys in the rain, in the mud, in the adverse conditions, again in the dog pound, you want that game, that situation on your home field in the worst conditions possible with home field advantage. And John Elway overcame all of it.
And I'm still not convinced. I've seen this kick so many times, man. That Rich Carlos, did that go through?
It was good. It was good.
I know it wasn't.
It was good.
It wasn't. He missed it wide. I don't understand. What are they looking at? That didn't go through.
If that wasn't bad enough, though. If they didn't have
the next year, Cam,
all off season, if they didn't have to sleep on that all off season, wait to fight back there. In football, you can't chalk up a divisional championship. You just can't chalk it up in the NFL. A lot of things have to go your way. And then for Ernest Biner, my man. They had Kevin Mack 2,000-yard rushers. Without even thinking about it, I think that might be the last time it happened. 2,000-yard rushers, and that 1,000 yards was legitimate back then because they only playing 14 games.
16, but yeah,
16 games. But for my man Ernest Biner, with the Super Bowl on the line, to rush through the line, the Denver Broncos defense, and be 2 yards away from the end zone, and the dude ripped the ball away from him.
Jeremiah Castile. But hey, man, they were down 28-0 in that game. Fought their way back to tied 28.
Oh my God,
that was an epic game.
Boy, Cleveland Brown fans, boy, they done had it tough. They done had it tough, boy. And then to lose their squad, oh goodness gracious. And then to lose that very squad, some years later, boy. Whoo. So Brian Brennan, the first one. Well, Mark Bavaro, obviously, and then there's Mark Bavaro, Brian Brennan. So Cleveland, when you think of the number 86, who can come to your mind first?
You know, Cam, the first person to come to mind is Jeremy Stevens, and I can't think of another 86. So I'm gonna say he wore it the best.
Mm. Yeah, Denver has some history. Cleveland, something we didn't touch on last week, man. And we actually get a chance to see him play tonight. Is he starting? I don't know if he's starting. But Isaiah Thomas joins the Suns. He joined the Suns last week. What did you I mean, I don't even know if he's still on the squad, to be honest with you. But what do you think about that pickup? Was that good? Was that just what the doctor ordered? How do you think Isaiah Thomas fits in with this current Suns team? I have no other words but to describe the Suns as being underwhelming, and I hate it because I love Kevin Durant. I really love I love his personality. I love his game. I really like what he brings to the squad. They miss Chris Paul. Whatever you want to think about Chris Paul, he was a good fit for the Suns, and they miss him dearly. This would be right about the time that he would be bow out with hangnail. But for the season, they actually miss Chris Paul. What do you think of these Suns team, and what do you think about Isaiah Thomas addition to the Suns team?
You know, kudos to Isaiah for having the intestinal fortitude to fight his way back to the NBA, and I'm glad he has a spot, and he's got some playoff checks coming, and gets to experience what NBA life is like again. And I'm
hold on. Slow down on the playoff checks. Let's slow down on the playoff checks. They ain't there yet, buddy.
I feel confident to make the playoffs. Was that a question? You want to put some of your chum on it, or what's up?
On the Phoenix Suns? No, absolutely not.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, getting some of them playoff checks and get back in the league, and traveling good, eating good, hanging out with folks he's familiar with. I'm happy for him.
But do you think he'll be a good addition to the team?
Oh, I mean that remains to be seen. I mean, certainly he can put in some valuable minutes if Bradley Beal continues with his injury history. I mean, he may have to step in, here or there, and give him 15, 16 points.
I got to call Bradley Beal into the office in this offseason. It's like, dog, we traded for you. We was hoping for the best. Bradley, I can't pay you $60 million next year. I can't do it, Bradley. Like
I almost feel sorry for that billionaire out there that owns the Wizards, man. That Bradley Beal, John Wall backcourt sounded really, really cool like 5 or 6 years ago. And I don't think they played 20 games between the two of them since. It's horrible.
I mean, again, I got to call dude into the office and be like, I mean, do you want to go to Toronto? Do you want to go to Toronto? Do you want to go back to Washington? Like, do you want to go to Charlotte? Where you want to go? Because I can't do it. I can't pay you $60 million, Bradley. And then we're only getting 40 games a year from you. I cannot do it, big guy. So you tell me I'm gonna do a solid. I'm not releasing you. I'm gonna put you on the block to see where you want to go and try to make it happen for you. But it won't be here. It won't be here. And I mean, Phoenix is kind of giving up on their. I mean, they're just as bad like the owner in Washington. The Phoenix Suns is just like what would have been. Cleveland, we touched on it last week, and you didn't want to give this kid any credit. But we touched on it last week, Cleveland. Victor Wembanyama. I'm not sure if you caught any time yesterday, if you got to see him play against Nikola Jokic. Who's the best center in the league? Let's clarify this right now. Who is the best center in basketball right now today?
The Joker.
So against the Joker, your guy, Victor Wembanyama. Did you see what he did last night?
Tremendous talent.
Don't just give me tremendous stat line. What was the stat line? Get a fan. Maybe the fans didn't catch it. Did you see?
I think it was like 26 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 8 blocks, something like that.
See. Let me clarify, fans, for Cleveland. 23 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, 8 blocks. Cleveland, that was almost a triple-double. Or excuse me, quadruple-double. And do you know the last time there was a quadruple-double in the NBA?
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Cleveland, can you name the 4 players who's achieved a quadruple-double in the NBA? There's only been 4 of them.
Sure.
And this guy.
I can actually. Hold up. Will Chamberlain, Alvin Robertson.
No, not Wilt. Not Wilt. They weren't. Come on. I mean, they weren't tracking. When Wilt was playing against his accountants and carpenters back in the day, they weren't tracking blocks. Okay. So Wilt is not on the board.
Okay. Alvin Robertson.
Nice try.
Alvin Robertson.
Yeah.
Okay. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, of course.
David Robinson.
David Robinson is actually correct. There's one more.
There's one more. Okay, give me a second here. 10 blocks. 10 blocks.
Yep. Boots, you helping him out, Boots. He needs your help, though. He needs your help with the last guy, Boots. It was the last one.
It was LeBron James.
I'm going to ignore that one right there. I'm going to ignore that one, and then we'll give you another try.
10 blocks. That's a lot of blocks.
No, not Giannis. Not Giannis. He's an older player. He may not. He'd probably before Cleveland's time. Cleveland may not get.
I'm gonna say with the assist, and it wasn't Wilt. Okay, so it had to be a center. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No, if you said Nate Thurman, you would be right. You would be right too.
Okay, that was that. You're right. That was a little before my time. I don't remember him having 10 blocks and 10 assists, but okay.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'll take that out. Sure.
So in the last month, excuse me, Giannis. Wemby is averaging 30, 12, and 6. This season, he's at 20, 10, 3, and 3. That's unheard of for a rookie. Nobody's done that. Nobody's done that actually since your guy Shaquille O'Neal. So I've been totally against giving this kid considering him for defensive player of the year. I've been totally against it. Because it's hard to say he's a defensive player of the year when the team has lost nearly 60 games. That's a challenge for me. I know you don't like stats, Cleveland, but I think sometimes the stats get beyond you where you just don't understand the game. But for the team to have 60 wins or 60 losses, how can you be the defensive player of the year? But I explained to you last week, I think it was it Sunday or last week? I think it was Sunday maybe, that Pop has put the man on a minutes restriction and is only playing him like 30 minutes a game, less than 30 minutes a game. So because the team has all these losses, they're the worst defense in the league when he's off the floor. When he's on the floor, it's not a full synopsis of the game because he's not playing the full game, obviously.
Oh, so they're going to project the 35 minutes?
See how you see where he's going? When he's on the floor, the numbers appear to be much better, Cleveland.
As you might imagine, Cameron, he's the defensive player of the year.
Cleveland, I'm gonna give you this number. I'm gonna give you this one stat right here, and I'm gonna get off of Wemby's case today. I'm gonna close my case on this. How many seasons has Giannis played in? Or Giannis, you got me saying Giannis, Boots. How many seasons has Victor Wembanyama been playing in the NBA? How many seasons?
This is his first season.
He played 67 games, Cleveland. The presumptive defensive player of the year is in his 11th season, and he's played 750 games. That would be Rudy Gobert. How many 7-block games has Rudy Gobert had in his career?
He's had 7, Cameron.
And Giannis, why I keep saying Giannis? Victor Wembanyama, in his first season in the NBA, how many 7-block game has he had?
He's had 12, Cameron.
Well, the number is 6, half of that.
Okay.
But that's still pretty freaking impressive. That's still pretty. Nobody else is even close, guys, to that stat right there. And that's all that Rudy Gobert does. Rudy's not the scorer. He's not the passer. He don't have the fluid ball movement that Victor brings to the game. This kid,
but he's Victor's mentor, so give him some credit. Okay.
Victor's mentor.
Yeah.
Victor may have looked up to him at one point. But there's not many things that Rudy does that Victor can look at him and say, "I want to be like that guy."
He's been bringing Victor along very slowly since he was like 12 years old. Give Rudy some credit, man.
Yeah, those phone calls, those phone calls, because he not seeing him in the gym. He stopped seeing him in the gym a long time ago. He didn't want another Rudy or Victor.
That's not true. That's why USA versus France is going to be a very difficult matchup. Just saying.
Oh, we get both of them, huh? Both of those.
You get both of them.
Ooh.
And Tony Parker might even get back in shape.
He might dress up. He might suit up for that one.
Boris Diaw, man, he's cutting weight as well, so it could be ugly over there.
Cleveland, we talking about that. I mean, Victor's season is just it just keeps getting better. If you guys haven't seen him, you guys better enjoy this last week of the historical NBA basketball, because you're not going to see this kid winning it. Oh my goodness! After seeing what you've seen from him this season, Cleveland, what is his ceiling? Because you didn't want to believe the hype. You didn't believe he wanted to be all that. Oh, he's a rookie playing against grown men and coming over from France, and he doesn't know the NBA lifestyle and the NBA game. You didn't have no faith in him doing much of anything. If we go back and listen to some of those podcasts where we're talking about what Victor was bringing to the court, you had zero faith in him. What does, after seeing what he's done this season, Cleveland, has your projections of Victor Wembanyama changed?
Cam, I think, and first and foremost, fans, I don't think I said anything even remotely like what Cam is referring to. But
I made it all up.
In the here and the now and the present, I believe Victor Wembanyama is capable of winning an NBA championship at some point in his career.
A championship?
I think a championship, 10, 12 years, it's a pretty big window. Those big guys typically don't play that long.
Wait. You fans, you hear what he started off. He started off by taking shots at me because I brought up what he said before the season started, taking shots at Victor. He was a French fry. He was too skinny to do anything. He could barely move. He'd probably get hurt. I thought you said he'd probably break an ankle, break a limb this time, some point in this season. Well, he's proved you wrong, Cleveland. He's proved you wrong.
That's fine.
And you said in 10 or 12 years he'll win a championship. Is that what you said?
I think a championship is realistic, Cam. Yeah.
I think a championship would be a letdown. A championship would be a disgrace. A championship would be a failure. A championship. You disagree with that? You think a championship is all he's capable of?
I think he's potentially can win a championship.
Yeah, just so I can you saying a like singular.
I mean, we'll see what he can do, but I mean, first things first.
We'll see. I'm asking you your projection. It's
my projection is depending on his health If he plays
You
12
see, fans. Fans. I laid it out clearly, and then now what he said was wrong. I didn't say anything remotely. And the first thing you said is depending on his health. Your fans, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm dealing with over here, and you got a championship being his potential.
I think 2 is his ceiling.
Oh my goodness! Why do I listen to this guy? Why do I listen to this guy when he talks basketball?
That's what I'm talking about.
Why do I listen to this guy? I mean,
yeah, because I'm so much more knowledgeable than you are about this hoop thing.
What? This guy was a tennis player in high school, folks. He played tennis down there in Montlake on the court. I don't even know where the tennis courts in Montlake were. I have no idea were they in the Red Square? You guys call it Red Square, Union Square? Where the heck were the tennis courts in Montlake at? What?
They were next to Headache and
the softball court. Oh, they got bowled over by the soft. Oh, they closed. They paved over the tennis courts to add more practice.
No, they're still there.
For AT&T Stadium.
All 12 of them are still there. Yeah,
that's right. They were on the way to University District. Okay, you're right. They didn't pave over those for the softball field, for the girls' softball field.
Did not know that's on the other side. That's a little bit over further by the parking. Yeah.
I don't know why I listen to this guy when he talking NBA basketball. Fans, he said, Cleveland, let the people know where they people aren't happy with your synopsis of Victor Wembanyama and his potential. Where can they
Cleveland Wonder on Twitter, Cleveland on Steel on Instagram, Cleveland Wonder on TikTok. Let me know what you feel about that.
He says a championship. Mm-hmm. He can potentially win a championship.
No, I said the ceiling is 2. I hope he gets the one that he covets.
I'm sorry, man. I apologize to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in nonetheless, though. But I'll be carrying the show for the rest of the way on here because clearly this guy is delusional. I mean, I don't even know where to go. I mean, you're a little bit more knowledgeable about football, but I asked you Victor Wembanyama's potential. You give me a championship. I mean, come on. I don't know where to go right now, fans. I'm a little stuck in the mud right now. Just because when he says something I hate to ask him about Jalen Brunson, who again he gave no credit. He gave me no credit when I said that was a good pickup for the Knicks because he was good for the Dallas Mavericks. He gave him no credit for what he did in Dallas. It was all Giannis. He goes to the Knicks and he makes his a playoff team. And I hate to even ask about
it was all Luka in Dallas. And I'm glad that he has his own franchise right now, it being the New York Knicks, and that's great. And I'll see you in the second round if you get there.
You see what I'm saying, fans? You see what I'm saying? They were in the second round last year, so that's their ceiling. The New York Knicks ceiling in the second round. Is that what you're saying? Jalen Brunson and what he does. Did you see Jalen Brunson score 60 the other night?
I sure did. Did they win that game?
I mean, I think they played a better team than he did.
They played a better team. Who they play?
I think they lost.
It escapes you. They played the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, and Victor Wembanyama. That's what
Victor hasn't won 20 games.
Victor went 40 and 20 that night. I'm sorry, Victor. Victor, I apologize. Oh hell, Victor, I apologize. He went 40 and 20 that night.
He went 40 and 20 against the Knicks. That's great. I think their tallest player is 6'7" over there.
I don't know what to do with this guy, fans. I really don't know what to do. I don't even know where to. I mean, my show is all thrown off. My script, I don't even know what to do.
Cam, if you want to recalibrate,
OKC?
If you want to recalibrate, all you gotta say is, I got some chum on the Knicks getting past the second round. That's all you gotta do, because you already threw Jalen Brunson out there as like a viable candidate to get to the NBA Finals. So, You know, so some chum on it, man.
I'm not sure I said NBA Finals now. Come on, settle down.
I said past the second round. I said Eastern Conference Finals.
I mean, the way the Milwaukee Bucks are playing, if they see the Bucks, they might have a chance.
Okay, well, hey man, what's
they
going
they see the Bucks. The New York Knicks are number 5.
Are we throwing
the New
some
York Knicks are playing number 5, so they're gonna beat the Orlando Magic.
Are they?
They're gonna be. Are they?
Well, the way you were
talking about,
like
you have any faith in the Magic.
You were talking about Paulo and the Orlando Magic earlier. I mean, that's not just a walkover. I'm so sorry. And then they would play in the Boston Celtics in the second round.
No, they're the number 4 or 5 seed, so that'll be playing they're in Milwaukee Bucks bracket, won't they?
No. Second round is 1, 4, 2, 3. You know how this works, man. Why are you getting all confused all of a sudden?
The Knicks are 5.
Okay. So if they should happen to beat the 4, they would beat the 1 seed.
I mean, Boston Celtics. You got faith in them guys?
Well,
do you have faith in those guys?
I'd have to put some chum on it for sure in the second round. How you feel about it?
Oh man, if they see Atlanta Hawks, I'll take the Hawks over Boston.
Oh wow!
And they should see those guys. They get it.
Fans. I'm asking direct questions to this individual, and he doesn't seem to want to answer direct questions. Skeptical. You got to be a little skeptical when direct questions aren't answered. And we get into the playoff times, and fans, if you know me, you know this is when direct questions have to get answered. And it's not gonna be me answering them. It's gonna be the players on the court answering the questions for themselves.
You know who's answering questions right now? Since you're bringing it up, is Luka. Luka is I mean, he's taking the next step. 9-1 in the last 10 games.
Okay. That's beautiful.
I mean, he ruined my playoff plans. I actually have playoff plans right now, Luka, that you're ruining them. I had another trip down to the Bayou plan, Luka, and you stepping all over them. I don't appreciate that. But they overtook the Pelicans for for the 5th seed in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see his finger roll from 20 feet out? One step inside the 3-pointer. Did you see Luka's finger roll the other night?
I didn't see that. Yeah, I gotta get it.
I mean, 34, and he leads the league in points per game with 34.
But Cam, what does all that mean? Because the way that you're setting it up, they would have to face Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Russell Westbrook and James Harden in the first round.
And that is a terrible matchup for the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
If New Orleans and Point Zion was a bad matchup for the Clippers, Luka's worse.
Mm-hmm.
Luka's eyes light up. And Ty Lue, I love you, Ty. You know what I think about you, Ty.
Ty, here's where it turns on you. Hit me. Come on, Cam. Judas, do it.
Luka's eyes light up when he sees Ty on the other side. His eyes light up. I mean, Ty, I mean, I can only be honest on the show, Ty. I know this is going to get back to you. I know you're going to hear it. Clippers don't want to see those. They don't want to see. Again, they had to focus. They had to get their mind right just for Point Zion. I mean, that would take some adjustment to get right for Point Zion. Luka is way more dangerous than Point Zion. Luka vaulted himself into MVP category for real. 9-1 in the last run. I mean, nobody else is doing that. Cleveland. That's the highest team in the league right now. And they're doing it on the defensive side of the ball. So Dave is not by himself. Yeah, we're gonna get some boxing in. Salute. We're gonna get some boxing in too. What's your thoughts on I need somebody to explain to me why Tim Zoo should have his corner failed him by not giving him by not stopping that fight. And we're gonna have that conversation a little later. But again, the Clippers would have had to wrap their heads around Point Zion. And again, Luka is just there's no comparison to Point Zion. Point Zion is still like a baby when you bring, but Luka right now has something to prove. He's been on a mission right now, and I'm scared for the Clippers if they have to see Luka in the playoffs, because one of those games is going to be an early game and Luka's going to go for 50. One of those games that's at formerly Staples, now Crypto, is going to be an early game. Unfortunately, this is how the NBA is doing. I mean, Ballmer doesn't have enough money to schedule an evening game, in the playoffs, and they're gonna have to play an early game, and Luka's gonna go.
I think Cam, this is the Clippers' opportunity to make a splash before going into the Intuit Dome.
Hey, they don't want to see Luka
moving out of the crib house, going out on their own.
Want to see Luka. They need Point Zion.
Okay, well now you're ducking and dodging people, but you can't duck the Pelicans or the.
No, it's going to be one of them. But I mean, right now it's tied.
So basically, what you're saying is it doesn't look good first round and out.
They don't want to see Luka. That's what I'm saying. They don't want to see Luka. There's a history there, and I'm not many NBA fans aren't many NBA fans aren't aware of that history. I mean, because
well, Cam, it just sounds like you're just scared for your squad, and that's okay.
Real quick, it was an inadvertent elbow. Fans, I don't know if you guys saw the fight, but derailed the show. It was an inadvertent elbow, and you want your fighter to fight. Yes, you do. Yes, I get it. You want your guys to fight, but not understanding the rules, and your guy ends up fighting and loses his belt. Like, that pushes him way back in the. He's not a prominent name. He's a foreigner. He's not Mexican, so that doesn't help his cause, and that he has to fall back in line, which really terribly hurts the situation and make boxing look terrible. Actually, if they end up going where they're going to go with Spencer Crawford, I mean, that's a whole different story. We're gonna dive into that later, Big Dog. But yeah, Luka is the way Luka is doing things right now. And again, it's not all is Luka's offense. What they're capable of doing on offense is one thing, but now that they're playing defense in the last 7 games, I think they've been holding their opponents over 110 points while scoring like 123. Like, that was coming into the season. We're saying, can the Mavericks? We know they can score, but are they willing to put in the defense to put in the work to play defense? Now they're even playing defense. Oh my goodness. Zion, Point Zion, get it together. Point Zion, I'm calling you on behalf of the Los Angeles Clippers. Get it together, Point Zion. Man.
Well, I mean, the Los Angeles Clippers have 2 MVPs of the league on their team and a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. So, I mean, ducking and dodging people is kind of ridiculous, don't you think?
I'm not ducking and dodging anybody.
You are.
You can't duck and dodge anybody. This is the NBA.
I know.
You can't duck and dodge anybody.
I know.
The truth. This is true season. This is true season coming out.
That's why I like it, man.
This is true season about to happen, and I'm just telling you guys the truth.
There's no ducking and dodging here, man. No.
The Mavericks. They lost. I think they lost last night, but they've been 8-2 in the last 10 games. Cleveland. Nobody else is. Who else has? There's only a couple other teams. The Rockets have an 8-2. And then the other team in Los Angeles, the other guys, they've been on 8-2 run too. But they're still, I mean, that 8-2 has them just barely over 500 for the season. So there's no reason to talk about them guys. Cleveland, OKC, and this is how tough the West is. Just a couple nights ago, OKC was number 1 in the Western Conference. Minnesota and Denver Nuggets are tied for number 1. Cleveland, I'm gonna ask you, with a week to go in the season, do you believe in the Oklahoma City Thunder? Cleveland, there were one game. 2 nights ago, they were number 1 in the West. They're a game out of first place in the Western Conference. What don't you believe in? You're going to say they're too young? Is that what your excuse is? Oh, look at Phoenix trying to go up 37-23 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look at Phoenix.
Yeah, Cam, too young and not talented enough.
Who? Phoenix Suns?
No, the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's what we're talking about?
Not talented enough.
No.
They have arguably the league's MVP on their team. You're not familiar with Jalen Williams or Jay Will, either one of them. I mean, they both have the same exact name. You're not familiar with either one of them.
Jalen's? No, I'm familiar with them. Is that what you're hanging your head on? Because it's about to be playoff time.
What have you seen? What have you seen from those guys to think that they're not capable of anything? You just hadn't seen them in the playoffs because they're two young dudes. That's all. So Chet Holmgren, who you're coming into the season, your preseason rookie of the year. Now there's no sign of Chet. Now Chet is a bag of bones.
No, he had a great regular season. Got some valuable experience, and he can build upon that.
Oh my goodness, you are absolutely ridiculous. So the Oklahoma, as if the season ended right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder would be 3. Mm-hmm. They will play the number 6 team in the New Orleans Pelicans. Who do you take in that series?
The New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, now you taking Zion? Now you going point Zion?
It's the Oklahoma City Thunder, yeah.
And you haven't like Zion, CJ. I tried to tell you, CJ hasn't showed up most of the season.
He's been hurt.
He's been hurt. He has a traumatic injury.
Some major arteries out of his body, and hope that he got better and recuperated, and he's finally getting there. It's April, damn.
It's so funny, fam, that he wants to use this injury excuse
excuse. Didn't they pull out half his lung or something ridiculous like that? No, I'm sorry. He had a collapsed lung, so we had to let his lung heal so he could breathe.
Okay, that was November, Cleveland. We're now in April.
Okay,
we're now
he's finally feeling better. He's feeling fresh. He can take large breaths, and
So you have confidence. Point Zion is what moves the needle in New Orleans. Brandon Ingram. As much as I like Brandon Ingram, he hasn't stepped up. Brandon Ingram should be the number 2 person on that team with the leadership of CJ, who hasn't fully been there. And then they got Herb Williams, and then they got Trey Murphy. But Brandon Ingram should be number 2 behind Point Zion. And now you have faith in Point Zion? I want to hear this come out your mouth. Now you have faith in Point Zion over the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Well, if that is the matchup, then I would take the New Orleans Pelicans, yes.
You're so disrespectful.
The league is disrespectful. It's getting to that time where you ask questions and you just answer them. Sometimes you don't like the answer. It hurts because you've seen so much during the season, but we're in the playoffs, man.
You got Point Zion over OKC Thunder.
I sure do. Yeah.
We're going to have to put something down on that.
Get all chummy about it. We can get chummy about it.
We're going to have to put some
chummy about it. Mm-hmm.
If they play, we're doing it right now. Pound the ribs.
We're not doing it right now because it's not set up. It's way too fluid in the Western Conference.
You hear how he backs out of that so quickly, fans? You hear how he backs out of that real quickly, like?
If that ever gets solidified and it's like that, oh yeah, we'll talk. Be right back at it.
Oklahoma City beats. Okay,
well, great. I'm glad you feel confident about that. Get all chummy about it.
That's amazing. Joel Embiid, how confident are you in what Joel Embiid can do? They beat the Thunder, the aforementioned Thunder last night. Upon his return, he gave him some lift. Is that sustainable? What Joel Embiid did last night in the playoffs or not? last night for the 76ers?
Not 100% sure. You know, I'm not a doctor, and I've been listening to you kind of talking me out of it for quite a few weeks now. I feel like he might be okay, you know, get his legs underneath him eventually. But, you know, again, the second round will dictate where as far as he goes.
Right now, they're gonna have to they're gonna have to beat Indiana to move to the to get into the play-in.
Okay.
To get out of the play-in. I don't know that that's doable. I don't know. I you know, it's only a week left in the season, fans. They're 19 games back. Indiana is 17.5 game back, and Miami is 17.5 game back. Is Miami's kind of guts and glory? Do you believe in that this season? Do you think Miami can get by with guts and gall, get back to the Eastern Conference Finals?
No.
But you didn't last year. You know, if we're being honest, you didn't have Miami getting to the
NBA Finals.
Eastern Conference. I just say Eastern Conference Finals.
No, I did not.
So you think they're Eric Spoelstra and that guts and gall is not sustainable this year? Fair enough. Yeah. So the Philly has to overtake. They're 2 games behind Indy, 2 games behind Miami, and then the New York Knicks they're like 4 games behind the New York Knicks. I don't think they're gonna get to the Knicks. But Knicks is sitting there at number 4 right now in Orlando. Or Orlando's 4, the Knicks is 5, and they're a game or half a game between the two. Do you expect them to finish that way?
4 and 5, I expect them to finish that way. Yeah.
And you're going Orlando over the New York Knicks because you have no confidence in Jalen.
If they have home court advantage, I mean, you know, we'll see how I feel about it then. But yeah, right now I do. I mean, you know, it's a long ways away, but you know, we'll see how Paulo likes the bright lights. I mean, that's what it kind of comes down to, right?
Ooh, you're questioning whether Paulo wants to stand up?
No. Some people like the bright lights, and some people are like, damn, it's bright in here. Like Trae Young likes the bright lights. Reggie Miller likes the bright lights. There are certain people that like the bright lights.
Okay. All right, Ice Cube, man. I got a problem with Ice Cube. I don't know. Did you hear what he had to say? Did you hear what he said recently?
I just know that he offered Caitlin Clark a bunch of money.
The $5 million.
$5 million.
I mean, that was a publicity stunt. Get people talking about the big 3. I get it. But the guys on Auto Smoke was asked him about the Los Angeles Clippers. About specifically building the Intuit Dome in Inglewood.
Mm-hmm.
And he laughed. He said they're ruining Inglewood. He said they're ruining Inglewood with the Intuit Dome. They need to hit the 405 and go back to San Diego and take the Chargers with them.
Ooh.
What's your thoughts? Cube, I gotta come after you.
That sounds like a hardcore LA native.
But okay, so question. Now, so hardcore LA Raiders with the Raider cap, the Raider starter jacket, all that crap. The Raiders left Los Angeles in the 80s, went to the Bay Area, tried to come back, and then went to Vegas. How do you guys still love that team who deserted you guys 30 years ago?
No, you misunderstand. He's talking about the 17 championships. He's talking about the purple and gold and how the Los Angeles Clippers have always been inferior and will always be inferior. It sounds very similar to when people, you know,
he said zero about purple and gold
here in Seattle. Talk about the University of Washington, adverse Washington State University. It's ludicrous, man. Like, what kind of conversation is this? This is a weird conversation.
How do the Huskies come into the conversation?
It is no.
The Cougars are 3.5 hours away. The Cougars are 3.5 hours away
from the Clippers and the Lakers. That's why he says they need to move back up the street or up the interstate back to San Diego. You know, that's why he's saying that.
But you bring up the Huskies and the Cougars. Like the Cougars are 3 hours away, 3.5 hours away. That's not even.
No, when I bring that up, I'm bringing up the disparity between the success and the failure between the two universities, and it's very similar to how Q is bringing up, the Clippers and the Lakers.
The Huskies aren't. It's not like the Huskies are in record books. Just settle down.
No, they're national champions. They've won a national championship, and I don't know how many Pac-12 titles. Numerous.
You guys see, he tried to bring up the Huskies. We're talking about Los Angeles team. He brings up the Huskies.
Let's bring it back to the Los Angeles teams. How many times have the Los Angeles Lakers played for the NBA championship?
Again, this had nothing to do with this conversation.
It absolutely does.
This conversation had nothing to do with
it. Keep dodging the obvious. Why was he dissing the Clippers so tough?
Because they're building a brand new stadium and they're about to steal a whole bunch of fans from that team in downtown Los Angeles.
He's dissing them because they don't belong in the same breath as the Los Angeles Lakers. That's why he's dissing
them. In fact, I asked. He gave me the same response, a very similar response when I asked him about the at the Big Three championship in Staples Center. I asked him about the Clippers. Did he want to show any love to the Clippers? I mean, they're from LA, just like the Lakers are. You should have love for the team. And he's like, who? I was like, come on, man. Come on, Ice. I got a bone to pick with you, Q. So when I see you again, be ready to have this conversation. We talked last week about you got the Celtics coming out of the Eastern Conference. I wasn't so sure. Pacers hanging on to their spot. Pacers hanging on to their spot in the play-in tournament number 6. Are you confident in that?
No. I mean, maybe they do. I mean, they have to get into the playoff thing. That's great. I thought you meant like, were they going to make any noise in the playoffs? And no, I'm not confident.
I mean, they push your guys they got to that Foldy Baloney in season tournament. Why can't they make a run in the
that was eons ago.
That was eons ago. Or maybe it was because the format was so goofy-ish. Nobody understood that format.
Whatever happened to be the case, it's the real playoffs now. So, yeah. Yeah, I get real heavy-handed, Cam. We're getting to that time of the year. I just can't get into all your rigmarole, man. Yeah.
So who do you have confidence in? Let the fans know right now. Who do you have confidence in coming out of the Eastern Conference?
The Boston Celtics.
Against who? You think they're gonna face the Milwaukee Bucks?
Oh, in the Eastern Conference Finals, yeah. I think that's pretty much how it's gonna match up.
Did you hear when I say Boston? The Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Wizards the other night.
Sure did. That's embarrassing. And your guy Doc Rivers is over there not doing a very good job. But hey, man,
everybody gonna blame it on Doc. Everybody gonna blame it on Doc. But I wonder, when do the players have to take responsibility?
Well, I believe they were in first place when the coaching switch changed. If not, they were like 2-3 games out of first place, and then they went and brought in the veteran, the elder statesman, to right the ship. And yeah, not so much.
Oh, boy, Cleveland. So let's jump into this NFL topic, man. We had some interesting things shake down in the NFL this week. The Jets trade for Hassan Reddick, the Eagles Hassan Reddick, the same Hassan Reddick who sent Brock Purdy to surgery. That Hassan Reddick. Jets bolstering up that defense. The problem for the Jets is that they don't have a quarterback. Do you see that being an issue for the Jets?
Well, I believe their starter Aaron Rodgers is on the mend, and I believe they went and go get Tyrod Taylor just in case that doesn't work out.
Oh, you got confidence in Tyrod Taylor taking the team somewhere?
He's proven to be an adequate backup wherever he's gone for sure. He gave you 19 games. Only reason he's not starting in Los Angeles is because they punctured his lung.
Because he got stabbed. How many games? How many wins do you give? Not how many starts. How many wins does Tyrod Taylor end the season with this year?
4.
So that means your guy, Aaron Rodgers, is only playing 13 games at best. Is that what you're saying?
I think Tyrod gets 4, A-Rod gets 8, something like that.
They're not doing anything, and they're not making the playoffs. That's a failed situation. That my Miami Dolphins have done nothing but lose players all off season.
Mm-hmm.
They have to. I mean, they got this quarterback contract hanging over their heads. I say trade the quarterback. Send them to Minnesota. Send them to Minnesota. Get there 11-23, and let's make something happen.
No, they're gonna sign him for $250 million. It's coming up.
That's the problem, man. That's the problem. We lost offensive linemen. You're going
to retain Tua Tagovailoa, and that's a bonus.
And trade him to Minnesota for the 11th pick, and we'll
replace him with JJ McCarthy. Was that your plan?
McCarthy, Pickett, or what's Junior's name from Washington?
Michael Penix Jr. Say his name right.
I mean, he might be a better option. He might,
Well, how many yards did Tua Tagovailoa pass for last season?
That was last season. That was last season when he had the best receiving core in the NFL.
Usually, when you ask that kind of question, there's a number associated with that. Was it 4,000 yards? Was it 5,000 yards? Somewhere in the middle?
No, it was 54 to use both of those numbers. Put both of those numbers together.
It was 5,400 yards he passed for last year.
With the best receiving core in the NFL, one of the best running games in the NFL. Yeah. Hey, I don't know what you can laugh at.
He passed for 5,400 yards, and you don't want to retain that dude?
Yeah, we could trade him. Who are the Raiders? Do you want him?
Is that the most passing yards in the history of the NFL? Top 10, I'm pretty sure. 5,400 yards.
Let's settle down.
I can't be. I don't even believe that. I don't
settle down. Settle down. This man's gonna make me go to the stat book.
Yeah, because you stabbed me to death with.
No, what am I statting you to death about?
Because those aren't even accurate stats.
Those are hollow stats. Did he beat a playoff team? Did he beat a playoff team last season? Did he beat a playoff team? What? No, he didn't. I'll help you out. No, he did not beat a playoff team last season. So that 5,400 yards he passed for, meaningless.
Cameron,
meaningless.
He literally threw for 5,400 yards last year.
Meaningless. Did he beat a playoff team? Cameron, that was my question to you.
Cameron, no, for real. Did he literally throw for 5,400?
Yes. Led the league in passing. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Did he beat a playoff team?
How many other quarterbacks in the history of the NFL have done that?
Did he beat a playoff team is my question to you, Cleveland.
So Cameron, again, I asked a question. How many other quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League?
I'll tell you in a second. Give me a moment. I'll answer that question for you.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question while I'm looking at the stats. Did he beat a playoff team in that tremendous season? The historic season that he had, did he beat one playoff team?
He absolutely did.
No, he did not. He absolutely did not.
I don't believe you.
Why would you believe that? That's my squad. Why would you believe what I'm telling you?
We need a playoff team. They won 11 games.
Who did they beat? They did not beat a playoff team. They beat the Dallas Cowboys.
There
they
you
did
go.
beat flukily. They beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. Well, then stand down. Get off your high horse. They beat a playoff team. They actually beat a division winner. So come on up.
You got me so frustrated right now. I'm trying to defend that goofball Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah,
quarter billion, 200 guaranteed.
It was actually 4,600 yards that he passed for. But
okay,
yes, that led the league.
God, that's 1,000 yards less, Cameron. Okay, 46 sounds more realistic. Good Lord.
I mean, he led the league.
Has that ever even been done before?
I mean, Dan Marino threw for 5,000 back in.
He threw for 5,084. I think Peyton threw for 51 or something.
So there you go.
54. Come on, man.
46, 69% completion rating.
That's incredible. How many touchdowns?
I mean,
how many touchdowns?
Why are you making me talk about it? Why are you making me talk about it?
I'm just asking a question. How many touchdowns? I'm gonna say 43.
No, and you be way too high. It was 29. Yeah, Boots. I put a little bit more on it, Boots. It was 46, Boots. It was 46. Either way, he led the league.
And how many touchdowns?
It was 29. It was 29.
29. That's okay.
29.
Yeah. Those aren't Marino rookie season numbers, but it's fine. It's still worthy of a $250 million though. 200 million guaranteed.
No, it's not actually. Boots, you want him in Chicago? How about this? I'll give you Tua for your number 1 draft pick, Boots. You willing to do that? I'll give you Tua for that number 1 pick. How about that? And I'll take Caleb. I'm not even enamored with Caleb.
I don't know why you're trying to, deal somebody that threw for 4,600 yards and 29 touchdowns, man.
Because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
His team to the playoffs with 11
wins.
It's
not sustainable.
Small steps. I mean, they'll continue to build and maturate.
This is 5 years in. Dude, you talking about 5 years in? You talking about baby steps? Is 5 years in?
Sometimes it takes a little while to break through. I mean, I think Peyton Manning didn't get to his first Super Bowl till it was what? 8?
He's not Peyton Manning. He's not Peyton Manning. He don't even. He don't. There's no. He don't. Who's your team, Boots? Who's your team? Did you say Vikings?
He's gonna be a Colts fan.
He's a Colts fan.
He's gonna be a Colts fan. He's in Indy.
Richardson. Okay, you want to get? I don't want to. Oh, Richardson is injury prone. I don't want to. I'm searching. Right now, I said Minnesota.
Right now, you don't need Cameron. You don't need to be searching around because they're going to send him for $250 million, 200 million guaranteed, and we'll roll like that. That's the plan. Oh wow! Okay, Boots.
Sorry to hear that.
He's talking about. Well,
I mean, I don't want that.
The mid '90s, it was all.
It was all good. It was all good a couple decades ago. What'd you think of your off season? I mean, Jerry said he's going all in, and so far they just been unloading dead weight.
Well, Jerry's got other problems to deal with right now, and he's suffering from a little bit of dementia. He's getting older, and there's he thought he was doing the right thing, paying this girl off, and she comes back around asking for some more money and paternity, tests.
Right. How she come out? How they come? The girl's 28 years old. She come out of nowhere. That's my daddy. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, been getting 6 years a year for 28 years. Yeah, college educated. Paid for. It's wild.
That's pretty wild. Need to rebuild. Come on.
Yeah, come on now.
They ain't selling. They ain't selling the golden boot.
All of sports, all of the world.
They're not selling the team. Jerry gonna have to pass on. I mean, and Steven ain't gonna sell the team. Well, AFC East, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills trade Stephon Diggs, Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Trade him? Who they trade him to?
Houston Texans.
Couple things about this. And I mean, I'm not a Bills fan by any means. But that was the Bills' best receiver. Gabe Davis is now in Jacksonville, right? So all they have is a couple of tight ends. Clearly, they have to draft somebody. Clearly, they have to draft a receiver, but good move to unload the malcontent Stephon Diggs. What do you think? I told you about Stephon Diggs. I told you the Seahawks should trade for Stephon Diggs way before the miracle in Minnesota. And you said no, he's not that guy. He came around and said, yeah, he's that guy, but he become a head case in Minnesota. Well, I understand the situation in Minnesota, because once Kirk Cousins went down, no, they got Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins helped him have a couple good seasons, but then he just got tired of playing Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins couldn't go deep. Then he goes to Buffalo, and it's all things, hunky dory the first season, and the next couple seasons, him and Josh Smith just on different pages. What's your thoughts on Stephon Diggs?
I'm feeling a lot of Terrell Owens about him, man. Like, he is supremely talented, and he's going to give you that boost that you needed, but it comes with a bunch of extra baggage. And I don't know. I'm hoping the 2 to 3 year window that they've kind of tried to create for themselves, I hope they get through it. They went and got Joe Mixon. They already had 2 other receivers. They haven't even drafted yet. CJ Stroud is only getting better. So, yeah, to add a number one.
Do you like this addition for the locker room in Houston?
Not for the locker room. Not for the locker room at all. That's what I'm saying. For the locker room and the culture, not at all. For the
their window is closed. Their window is closed. It's slammed shut.
The window's closed. The defense is in shambles, and they have no offensive pieces. But no, I don't like it for the culture. I don't like it for the locker room. I like it for the ability on the field.
Yeah, but I mean, it's you have a if they had a veteran head coach that can kind of stop some of this stuff, nip it in the bud, and be like, yo, you're our number 3 receiver.
He's not the number 3 receiver. He's their number 1 receiver.
He's their number 1 receiver?
Yeah.
They had Tank Dell and who's the other kid? I mean, they both got hurt last year.
Okay. 2 and 3 is who you're talking about.
So he walks in as the number 1 receiver?
Yeah.
So he's going to be all up in your boy's ear, telling him, I'm open, throw me the ball, fuck those other dudes.
Yeah.
I don't like that for the young team, bro. I don't like that for the young quarterback who I don't know who's able to tell him shut up. I'll hit the open receiver, Nico Collins. Yes, Nico Collins. Right. Nico Collins came on towards the end of the season. Yeah, there's high expectations for the Texans next year, but I don't like this addition to the locker room.
Culture cancer, without question, man. So you have to get it in quickly before you have to trade him or cut him. This is not a long-term solution. It's not like you traded for, Megatron or Larry Fitzgerald. You traded for Stephon Diggs.
I don't know, man. I don't.
We tried.
I was a
try the experiment and see how it goes,
but I don't think there's anything. I don't think anything. I don't think anyone in the locker room is going to be able to tell him. Anybody on the coaching staff. I don't know who's on the coaching staff. Maybe there's
D'Amico Ryans will tell him. He'll tell him straight up to his face.
D'Amico Ryans is coaching the defense, bro. He's not telling the offensive what's
okay. Well, when things get a little too rowdy and a little too out of hand, I don't think that he's one that's going to shy away from the confrontation. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Those two, they don't need that extra. I agree with you, Boots. They don't need that. They don't need that, and I don't know that Stephon Diggs at this point is worth it. Like, we'll see. He's a
worth the risk, right? And you know,
yeah.
you just have to be willing to cut your losses if the experiment doesn't work. Like,
well, by week 4, 5, 6.
No, it's going to go through the season for sure.
Yeah. So now when it blows up the receiver, the receiver,
no, he's going to be great for the first 6 months. It's the honeymoon period. It's when he's not getting enough passes and they have like a 3-game losing streak. That's when he turns into Stephon Diggs. Right now, he's going to be in Houston. He's going to be loving Houston, right? So, you know, it's all going to be, you know, again, peaches and cream for now. He's got a quarterback that can make all the throws. He's got a team that's playing in a division that's a little, you know, up for grabs, so to speak, because they already won the division already. So, you know, hey, man, add to that.
Buffalo, does this put them, I mean, with Josh Allen, where do they go? With Josh Allen, do they trade for another receiver? Do they draft another? That means do they have to draft a receiver high in the draft?
The draft is heavy with receivers, so they have to either draft one or, I mean, you know, T. Higgins is out there.
Yeah, but the what you call it? The Bengals not trading him to a solid team in the AFC.
Justin Jefferson. I mean, you know, there's receivers out there. Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, sound like he want to go play with his doppelganger. Your guy Tomlin. What do you think about Rashid Rice? What do you think about this situation? Admitting he was involved in a 6-car pile up on the Dallas highway, racing in a Lamborghini that he was leasing for $1,700 a day. Dog was leasing a Lamborghini for $1,700 a day. And he's racing. I mean, this was a rookie. What was Rashid Rice drafted? No, this is the second year. This is the second year, right?
No.
I think this was the second year.
Sure.
Where was he drafted? Where was he drafted? He wasn't drafted. He wasn't a high draft pick, right? No, yeah, he's a rookie. This was the first year.
Yeah, Skyborn was the year before that, and he never panned out. That's why they drafted Rice.
Oh, so second round, 55th pick in the second round.
Okay.
All right, so he has a little change. He has some change. But dog, $1,700 a day. That's the lease tag. What do you think about him, man? And walking away from the pile up. I mean, there's images of him walking away from the pile up in his voice. It's kind of weird, right? I mean,
no, I mean that's.
You think you guys can just get in a wrecked Lamborghini and walk away, literally walk away off the freeway?
Survival mode, man. Yeah, kicked in. Survival instincts kicked in. Career, you know, it was fun while he was racing around in the, you know, lime green Lamborghini. You know, it's fun and stuff, and you know. Probably had a Super Bowl. He hasn't even actually received a Super Bowl ring yet, so I can't say he was riding around with the ring on. So they're like, okay, yeah, tell people who you are and take pictures and stuff, and yeah, man, live that life, do your thing, talk that talk. But once the crash happened, it's like, oh wow, it could all be over in an instant, and yeah, let's not be a part of this.
Like, no, that wasn't us. There's no tags on the car. It wasn't. There's no tags on the car. His boy driving
Yeah, and
his,
then
his Corvette.
I don't know if you've ever watched the first 48, but it's quite obvious that some people just do not understand how technology works, man. Like you can't just tell them you weren't there. You can't just tell them this or that happened. It's like, no, man. There's all this footage. There's all these cell towers. There's all these other things. Your stories just don't, hold water just because you want me to believe it the way you're telling it to me. We have all of this other information that says to the contrary. And yeah.
That's wild. Does he get suspended? I mean, this is off season.
Oh, yeah. This is a hit and run, right?
Yeah.
Scene of an accident, right? Last I checked. And certainly not a Super Bowl champion. Like, what are you talking about? You're in your $1,700 a day Lamborghini. You crash into a bunch of people and just cut out. Like,
does that tag? I mean, does that tag continue to run up? I
mean, you can't bring the car back, huh? I hope you sign the insurance waiver. Yeah,
well, they had insurance. Come on, you had to have insurance. If you're, you had to have insurance.
I hope you checked the yes box, because if you didn't,
Woo! I don't know, fans. What you guys think about Rashid Rice and walking away from the accident? I mean, luckily he could walk away from the accident. To be honest, luckily he could. Him and his boys walk away.
Get to the triple digits, riding around in those little cars, man. Come on, man.
But they just was prancing down the side of the freeway like it's all good. Like, come on, guys. Cleveland, confident or concerned? Are you confident that the Seahawks will be drafting a quarterback in the draft on day 2? No, you're not confident?
I have no idea what the Seahawks are going to do. I won't even speculate.
Oh, sounds like they liking Geno. Sounds like they're feeling Geno, huh?
They like Geno to be the quarterback for this year until he gets hurt, and then they like Sam Howell to be the quarterback.
Okay, rich personal problem, Cleveland. Fans in Kansas City vote for 58 to 42 no for public funds going to a Chiefs and Royals new stadium. Now you're familiar with the city voting on stadiums. Now that becomes either a fiasco or a farce. You're familiar with that 100%, right? Both sides of the ledger.
Right.
Do you expect? Is there a chance that either team leaves Kansas City, the Royals or the Chiefs? So they're just telling the owners to pony up, or the owners going to come to a deal with the city.
But here's the thing about those things, Cameron. All it takes is a proposal from someplace, not too far, where they can still get like some fans, and they just show the rendition of
for down the street. the rendition from Southern Missouri.
Okay. I see it. You already got the land. Okay. You already said it. Okay.
Hold on. That's not what happened with the Seahawks, is it? Because they were just the fans voted no for the new stadium, and they said, "No, we're gonna. I think we're gonna do this."
Yeah, with the Seahawks,
they just said we're gonna do this.
We had one of those kind of owners. It's like, okay, I'll cover the runoff. This is what I need you to cover. I'll cover anything over that. And he made it very, very reasonable, being one of the, I think at the time, one of the top 20 richest men in the world.
Right.
So it's like, hey man, this is it's like this. If it goes over this, and it did actually, I think like almost $100 million, and he was like true to his word. Okay.
So St. Louis says we got you. We come on down the street, which is probably
because they don't have a team, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. If St. Louis calls it, they're probably what is a 45-hour drive from Kansas City. If they say we got you, come on over. What happens? Because they were proposing building a complex for both teams, the Royals, and that's what I kind of thought was odd about it. They were contemplating building a team for the Royals and the stadium facility for the Royals and the Chiefs. And the fans said no.
I've always liked the Royals baseball stadium with the fountains. I always thought that was cool, but yeah, clearly Arrowhead is obsolete at this point, right? That's just not what
Arrowhead. That's
top
what
tier franchises play in
Arrowhead.
stadiums like that, right? Anymore.
Joe Montana played in Arrowhead. I mean, come on. So what are we talking about here?
What are we talking about here?
What are we talking about?
We got back to back, and the odds-on favorite to go again. Like, okay,
but that's the
we want to play hardball. Like,
well, so Boots, what do you think about the Bears? Said they're going to build a dome.
Beautiful.
We announced that a couple weeks ago.
Wise move.
I said it was dumb. I said the Bears was getting they're giving up their home field advantage.
See, you say that, but then you criticize people for getting frostbite and freezing.
No. Well, I say go home. I mean, if you're not dressed appropriately, come on. You know what the weather is. You can look outside and see what the weather is.
It's so cold out there that if you don't have on 5 layers of flannel, that you're going to freeze to death.
Come on, Cleveland.
Why don't you just play inside?
Do you wear a t-shirt to work, bro?
You know what?
Last week when you went to work on Monday,
let the elements be that much of a factor. That's great.
Come on. When you went to work on Monday,
win for everyone.
Did you wear shorts and t-shirt? Did you wear shorts and t-shirt to the office on Monday? Not only is that is not appropriate, but that would be stupid. Okay? That'd be stupid for you not to dress accordingly.
They play in Chicago in December and January, man. Put a top on the thing.
You like it? Yeah. My mom is a Bear fan and she doesn't like it. Exactly. Most sane people don't think it's a good idea. You give away your home field advantage. When the team comes,
give away your home.
When the Miami Dolphins fly up for the playoff game,
what about
85 degrees
change from September to January?
What?
The climate change from September to January. Come on, man. It's off the lake, man. Stop that.
What are you talking about? They live in that. They live in that weather. If you're not prepared for that, that's your fault.
The people, the citizens live in that.
Chicago is
and they have to commute and all that. That has nothing to do with a 3-hour football game where you could just put a top on it. You know what? If the citizens of Chicago had the option of just putting a top on it so they didn't have to deal with it all the time, they would.
I didn't like Minnesota doing that. I think it gives away your home field advantage. You just heard the Chicago fan. Mom doesn't even like it. It doesn't make sense. When the Miami Dolphins travel from 85 degrees in January to minus 15 degrees,
it's 100-degree difference. Yeah.
Okay. Who did that? Who's that advantage for?
It's for the Kansas City Chiefs.
No. Thank you. So if you say, okay, come on up, Dolphins, Chargers, Texans, Cardinals, who else are we talking about? Jacksonville Jaguars. Come on up to Kansas City, Missouri in the wintertime, and we have a dome for you guys. Suddenly that game's on it's on an even playing field. Las Vegas, thank you. Yeah, suddenly, all of a sudden, things are a lot even.
Okay, man.
But when they say it's 17 degrees and that's what we're playing in, and fans, you guys aren't smart enough to wear your hunting gear, to wear your thermals, to wear your Carhartt.
Check this out, man. I got a quick question for you. Have you ever seen that movie, The Shining?
Yeah, I've seen it. Okay, what's your question?
Okay. Would you pay $1,000 to be out in that environment for 3.5 hours?
Cleveland, me personally, I'm not paying any money to go to any sporting event.
Well, great.
That's me personally.
However, if it was weather controlled, climate controlled, would you pay the $1,000?
I'm Cleveland. See, this is the whole reason I got into this journalism
No,
industry.
no.
I don't have to pay $1 to get to any venue.
$25 a hot dog, $50 a beer.
Right, I don't want to do it. No.
So that your football team has an advantage because the other teams coming from the warm climate, and this is one of the rules of my book. So I totally understand that. But if you have a choice to put a dome on it or not, put a top on that, man.
But they're kind of crazy anyway. Hey, I guess I'm crazy too, man. Just as I'm looking at it from a home field advantage standpoint, you're giving away your home field advantage. You're giving it away.
You're giving away your cold card. Okay, well,
I mean, again, Cleveland, you're acting like on Saturday afternoon I wasn't dealing with the negative 15 degrees anyway. You're acting like on Monday when I go to work, I don't have to deal with the negative 15 degrees anyway. You're acting like it's one day and I'm paying all this money.
The difference is you have to pay $1,000 to do it. That's the difference. It's just in your everyday kind of thing because that's what the weather is dictating.
That's what the weather is. That's what it is. When you come to the Midwest in January,
I don't want to pay $1,000 to be out in the cold. If I have the option of like being out in the cold for $1,000 or indoors for $1,000, I'm taking the indoors every time.
You're a tennis player, Cleveland. You're a tennis player.
Okay.
Well, you go to the tennis center. The tennis center
out there in the minus 15.
The tennis center is covered. It's a climate controlled building anyway. Go to the
out there in the minus 15 and tell me how cool it is when your team has the unfair advantage because it's so fucking cold.
So you want to play in the Kingdom? You want the Kingdom back? You rather play in the Kingdom? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, the Kingdom was obsolete. It was outdated.
Well, yeah, but okay. So you want to put a dome on the Lumen Field now? You want to cover it up? You want a retractable roof?
It's half covered as it is. It's covered on both sides.
It's half covered. Tell the fans that get the rain.
And it never gets to minus 15, by the way, Cameron. Like almost never. Like a handful of times in the last 100 years.
I don't want to sit in that damn drizzle. I wouldn't want to sit in that. But
well, if you don't want to sit in the damn drizzle, I'm 100% sure you don't want to sit in the negative 15. I don't care how many flannel shirts you have on. I don't care how prepared you are for it. You really don't want to do it if you don't have to. If there was an option of whether to do that or be in the indoors, you'd want to be in the indoors, right?
Certainly, but you're giving away your home field advantage. That's my whole point. And if you say when the Rams come to Los Angeles or when the Rams come up to Seattle and have to play a game in November, December, and January, that's not a home field advantage. You're absolutely lying to yourself.
Right, but the weather is not nearly as extreme either.
Oh boy, here we go. Whatever the weather is not the climate controlled. Well, it's not even climate controlled in SoFi. It's not the SoFi Stadium. SoFi Stadium.
All right, well, you go out there and run around the cold then.
I'm just saying. Minnesota, I would have voted against that. Playing them, playing
don't put one in Green Bay, don't put one in Buffalo, don't put one in New York.
You're giving away your home field advantage.
Or your home field advantage, New England, yeah.
New England has a brand new stadium. fairly new stadium. I don't believe there's a cover on that stadium.
Sure isn't.
Yeah, so there you go. This now that we had time for this NFL rule change to sink in, are you enjoying, are you looking forward to the new kickoff rules?
I'm so indifferent, man. Kick it off, man.
Just kick it off and let's play ball?
Kick it off, let's play ball.
Yeah, it don't make sense. It's historic. I mean, Lambeau Field, that's
No, I
historic.
know. They won the Ice Bowl with I remember watching Bob Hayes run routes with his hands in his jersey when he wasn't getting the ball. And what was the key? They were throwing it at him. He took his hands.
Right. That's like, when Dan Reed
was not coming at him because his hands are not coming out of his jersey. And what they do, they must be throwing the ball to you then, huh?
Man, please. Come on, home field advantage, big dog.
Please.
So we had a chance to hear Harbaugh introductory speech this week. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would like to been there to hear what he had to say, because what I heard just watching it on YouTube, it was Dan Campbell-ish. Except Dan Campbell didn't have the history that Harbaugh had. But it was very Dan Campbell-ish. He avoided many of the questions. Kind of quirkily. And was just, I'm just ready to play ball, man. I'm just he's playing. Like, did you see any of the videos? Did you see any of the video? Hear anything he had to say?
I don't watch Harbaugh's videos.
Like, it's just kind of quirky. His strength and conditioning coach, like somebody at the military, like you better not step out of line any way, any shape or form. Not that, yeah, he's very.
So it sounds like he's been away from the NFL a little bit too long and been at Michigan talking to 18 to 22-year-olds a little too much.
It was kind of interesting.
That's concerning in and of itself, just the way you kind of introduce that, like, my way or the highway. Whoa.
Well, no, that wasn't him. That was a strength and conditioning coach. Let's be clear. That's a strength and conditioning coach.
Hey, strength and conditioning coach. Why don't you go over there where the coaches hang out?
I mean, again, but his job, yeah. Harbaugh is weird.
Super weird, man. Always been that way.
He's been weird. I don't disagree. With it. I'm not arguing that at all. Yes, he's weird. Hearing him talk was even weirder. Like, I wish I was in the room to get a feel for
how
actually
weird he is.
I mean, I would have thrown some questions out to kind of gauge his response.
Gauge his weirdness. He's weird.
We'll get Tyler on. We'll get Tyler on in a couple of weeks to talk about it.
It's like Mike Leach, man. Like, in the pros, like, just
Mike Leach was funny though. Mike Leach was funny.
Super weird though. Come on, man.
Mike Leach was funny.
Are you coaching my NFL franchise?
No, but Mike Leach has jokes. Mike Leach had legitimate jokes. I asked Mike Leach, I said, at the Pac-12 Media Day, he was coaching the Cougars at the time. I was like, Mike, what is the trick? What are you doing to get talent to Pullman? Like, how are you? Pullman's in the middle of nowhere. How are you getting Pullman? He's like, well, we're in LA, at the time. It was in Hollywood. He says, not everybody likes to deal with the traffic. Not everybody likes to deal with the 9 million people in the same city. Some people like to just get around town easily. And I was like, he's just like, not everybody likes to be in this big city. Some people just like to focus on what they're doing. I was like, okay, Mike, I couldn't argue the point, but he just said the way he said it, it was kind of that's what he said, but it was jokes. He had jokes behind it. It was, he kind of said it with a, tongue in cheek, right? Like, not everybody wants to be in this fucking big city is basically what he was saying. But he had humorous. Mike was humorous. Harbaugh wasn't humorous. It was like some weirdo type. It was like some weirdo type stuff. However, I mean, obviously he has a track record that is undeniable.
It's undeniable.
So, but it just came off. It was not what I was expecting. It was not what I was expecting. And I can see his strength and conditioning coach. I can kind of see where he is coming from, right? Like, these are core. You need to be strong. You need to be dialed in. We need to get you stronger. He's ankle rotation. Like, what? Like, he's like neck strengthless, neck resistance. Like, huh? Like this guy, he might have been over top. He might have been over the top, but
the players will let him know very shortly, won't they?
Or he'll let them know.
No, this isn't that. This isn't college. They'll let him know.
That was kind of weird, Cleveland. Let's take a quick break, Cleveland. When we come back, we'll continue the show with This Week in History and get into our boxing conversation. And then we got to talk about the NCAA tournament, kind of your biggest takeaways from that. Do you blame Angel Reese? Well, you can't really blame Angel Reese, but do you blame the head coach, Kim Mulkey, for not defending Caitlin Clark a little bit better? Let's take a break, Cleveland. We'll come back. We'll finish off the show.
Be right back.
Am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name is Cameron.
Cam Buford. Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford right here.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy? I want to get some of this guy.
Of course, I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment.
I'm standing there to try to make a change. Get back to the youth, get back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter. The fighter works
for the promoter. Okay.
If you can see, you can believe.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
On your team, is Paul number 2 option or your number 3 option? On your case manager. 30 nights a year, he's my number 1 option. 30 nights.
Can I finish? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about these upcoming?
Like I was saying before.
Every game's a new game, so each one's a different experience, different defense, different players, different game plan. So,
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
one of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
as the show voice of the fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve.
tears.
Come on, you were adding some spice to it.
It is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
Real ones know what's going on, right?
Like you said, Pacific Northwest. So I think it's a big part of my game. And every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn to win a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm happy.
Yeah,
for the whole
yeah,
thing.
no, yeah, Ken, nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
Look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do
Knowing real surprised at that, Ken.
Hey, give here. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's Big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sports. Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do.
Big Snoop Dogg was good, man. That situation with Reggie Miller, man, that shit was hilarious. That was hilarious. He got me. I was asking fans if you guys don't haven't seen that full video. I was asking him about that's the year Trae Young was coming out of college, and there was a lot of comparisons between him and Steph Curry. And so I asked him. My question was, who were some of the rookies that he liked coming out of college? And then the first thing he said was Trae Young. He's like, well, a lot of people say Trae Young is like Steph Curry, and I was like, Reggie, you're not believing that too, are you? And he's like, well, let me finish the question. You can't ask a question and answer too. Funny, hysterical. Fans, this week in history. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Each and every week, you give your number game at the beginning of the show. We end the show with the quote, but our fan favorite is this week in history, Cleveland. March 4th, April 4th, 1968. April 4th, 1968. Memphis, Tennessee.
Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated.
Unfortunately. March 6, 1909, Matthew Henson, explorer and expedition of the six to reach. He was one of the six to reach the North Pole. Matthew Henson.
The first, right?
Explorer. He was a Matthew Henson explorer in an expedition of 6 to reach the North Pole. So he's one of the first. He wasn't by himself. Okay. April 3rd, 1966, Tom Seaver signs with the Mets for a $50,000 bonus. And $50,000 back then, it was $50,000 was crazy, right? March 3rd, 1993, second NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. USC beats Louisiana Tech by 69-67. Trojans forward Cheryl Miller was tournament's most outstanding player. Dr. Charles Drew, Cleveland, April 1st. Dr. Charles Drew, a scientist, discovered blood plasma, which now is just kind of going wild, right? With PRP platelets now is accepted. It wasn't illegal. It was not legal when Kobe Bryant did it, but now it's legal in America. So those are some things that happened in history, Cleveland. Cleveland, speaking of women's tournament, we had Iowa beat in the most watched female basketball game in ESPN, actually. Over 12 million people tuned in to watch Iowa beat LSU. And Caitlin Clark went for 41 and 12. Scored and assisted on 67 points for the Iowa Hawkeyes. What's your takeaway from that game? Caitlin Clark was a beast, bro. Not only was she pulling up from everywhere on the court, but she was making some beautiful passes, man. Some passes that were just, she had full control of the game, and that was very impressive. And again, her passing to open players was killer. I mean, that really helped them out in a big way. Angel Reese had a big game too. Was she 20 rebounds in the game? Like 17 to 20, if I'm mistaken. I mean, clearly she's bigger than most of the girls, but she has some nice steals, take it down and easy layups. But a lot of Kim Mulkey is getting a lot of flack for not putting Flau'jae Johnson, on Caitlin Clark sooner and sticking her with the other girl, having a Van Leet. What's your takeaway from that game?
Caitlin Clark was 10 for 20 from 3-point. She was busting them girls up, man. Angel Reese had a very impressive first half, and she had an injury. Wasn't nearly as impressive in the second half. Missed a lot of really close to the basket shots, and that was the difference in the game.
Do you blame Kim Mulkey for not putting Flau'jae on old girl quicker sooner?
It's easy to say that if you didn't watch the game. Caitlin was busting from way out there. So, I mean, I don't know how much difference that would have really legitimately made.
I mean, she was doing her thing. That's for sure. I mean, Caitlin was killer. She was a killer that game. Very, very impressive. Who was the girl's name? Van Leith, though. Van Leith was the person I'm trying to think about. Yeah, Caitlin had 41 points. Like, ooh, what are you gonna do with that? UConn beat USC. Paige Becker. I mean, we got a chance to see Paige Becker. Did you watch that game? Juju looked kind of wore out. I mean, they were throwing 3 people at her. And late in that game, she looked like, I mean, they are kids. She is a kid. She's 18 years old. So she looked like an 18-year-old, right? An 18-year-older, if you will. Frustrated, whining. She's bad though. Juju's bad. No, I'm not taking anything from her, but just in that specific game, Gino Oriema, he sicked the dogs on her, and she, as good as she is, she just couldn't contend with 3 girls on her every play, and by the fourth quarter, she just looked wore out. Paige Beckers, on the other hand, she scored 28 points, but she had UConn was up. USC fought their way back, tied the game up, but then Paige Becker went on like a 6-point scoring strike, and then they put it right back to 10, and USC just didn't look like they were capable of competing. Kind of late in that second half. What you see out of that game there?
Saw the same thing. I think the pressure and the gravity of the situation just got to be too much for USC, and Connecticut's been there before, lots and lots and lots of times.
Right, lots, right. So Paige Becker, we get Paige Becker and Caitlin Clark this weekend, and South Carolina versus NC State. I mean, you have to kind of take South Carolina, right?
Yeah, you kind of do.
And Dawn Staley. I really appreciate what Dawn. I mean, I like Dawn when she played for Virginia. Like, she was a beast when she played for Virginia. She was often undermanned. Like, she was good, but they didn't have the complete squad like with who she was competing with. Like, and then now her in this as a head coach. She's been underrated until here recently, where she's really gotten the ear of these parents, and the best players are going to South Carolina in a unique situation. So you got to you got to give her credit, but now they're playing NC State, which I think, as I mentioned, you kind of got to give her the credit. So who do you expect to see? SC against who? Is it going to be Paige Beckers or Caitlin Clark?
I expect UConn, honestly.
Okay, so who you been most impressed with? Is it Caitlin Clark, or who's been most impressive in this tournament? Is it Caitlin Clark? Is it Angel Reese? Is it,
No, I've been most impressed with Caitlin Clark. I mean, she comes with the intention of burning the building down, and she's done that every game to this point.
So Sabrina Ionescu, Memphis beats Milwaukee by 10 tonight.
Ooh. What's up with your boy Doc?
I don't blame Doc. I wish people would stop blaming Doc.
Okay.
When Cleveland.
I'm so sorry. Back to your question. You were saying something else before you went.
Let me get this off my chest.
No.
Let me get this off my chest. You asked a question. I gotta answer the question. And I say I don't blame
rhetorical. That was rhetorical.
And I'm answering the question.
They sucked ever since he's been the coach.
No, listen, to fans. So
will not.
It's funny. It's
I will
funny.
listen,
It's
fans.
hysterical.
Yes, listen if you want.
It's hysterical.
It's all about the coach.
This is hysterical.
Because the coach has interjected himself into the situation that wasn't broken.
For anything.
The situation wasn't broken, but he interjected himself into it, and now it's broken.
Are you finished?
Now they're losing to Memphis and the Wizards, and the playoffs are 20 minutes away.
Are you finished? Leon? Fans, if you watch the show,
we were talking about something else. When we were talking about women's basketball earlier,
we were talking about women's basketball until you brought up Doc. I gotta defend Doc. I gotta defend Doc.
After losing to the Washington Wizards,
I gotta defend Doc.
With 10 days, with 20 minutes left before the playoffs start.
Hold on, Cleveland. You have an article. You have a couple articles coming out right now. You have a couple articles out.
Yeah.
The first article talks about what the most dominant move in the NBA histories, right? 7 most dominant moves in the NBA, right? It does, and I want to know how much of coaching goes into the players executing their dominant moves
that they perfected.
How much coaching went into that?
In their development of developing those moves, I'm sure quite a bit.
Oh, now you want to give coach credit. Now you want to get them a little bit of credit.
How
much credit? You told me, Cleveland. Cleveland, your words. I need to record
the pros. Those moves were perfected, though, for sure.
So, I've always heard from you for the 11 years we've been doing the show. In the NBA, it's about having that dude. If you have that dude, your team is going to beat the other guy, right? That's what I've heard from you say. Say it so I can get it on tape. Say it one more time. What? Repeat.
You have to be that dude.
And so the Milwaukee Bucks supposedly have 2 of those dudes. And they lose to the Washington Wizards.
The coach is messing it all up because before they switched coaches, they were just fine.
They weren't just fine. That's what I keep reminding you. They were not just fine.
Cameron, what was the record when they fired their coach?
They were number 2 in the Eastern Conference.
Like 31-12 or something ridiculous?
Yes, but they were
What's their record since Doc Rivers has taken over?
They're still number 2 in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, okay. So you don't have those stats for me. Okay. It's weird because they always like to throw stats out.
No, Cleveland, you don't even like stats. So how you gonna ask for call for some stats? You don't even like to look at stats.
Yes, because it will paint such a perfect picture that they.
Now you want to use it. They're still number 2 in the West. So if they lost 12 games, and if they lost 12 games, they lost 15 games with Doc as head coach.
Okay, so the premise was they were going to fire their coach and bring Doc Rivers on to get them over the hump and get to the NBA Finals. How's that look right about now?
I'm not sure who predicted Doc would get the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, wow. Well, I think isn't that why they fired the coach?
Well, the coach wasn't doing a good job. Giannis was not happy. So Giannis wasn't happy they had to make a change.
How happy is Giannis now?
Good question.
Losing to the Wizards and the Grizzlies.
Good question. Yeah, I mean you can't.
Back-to-back games.
These losses are
Not a lot of games left.
These games are unacceptable. You're right. I mean these losses are unacceptable. There's no way. But how much do the players deserve? How much blame do the players deserve on this?
Zero. It's that coach talking about nonsense.
You see. In one sense, the coach. In one sense, is that dude that you got to have that can change the game. But then it's you want to blame it on the coach.
You know when I start blaming the coach is when Giannis goes up to Doc and says, "Shut the fuck up and just give me the ball, and you don't have to be involved." I'm not listening to you when you drop that stuff on the board, man. Just give me the ball, and I'll take care of it.
Well,
now when they turn on Doc like that, it's like, okay, cool, yeah. Otherwise, he's just messed this whole thing up, right?
I mean, that's your standpoint on it.
We'll see. Putting too much mustard in the potato salad. You know how that turns out, right?
We'll see how things shake out. So back to the women's hoop. You going? We agree South Carolina's going to win it all. You got Paige Beckers beating the Golden Child and Caitlin Clark. So last year, was it last year? Maybe 2 years ago. It might have been longer than that, actually. Sabrina Ionescu came out. She was supposed to be the hottest thing in women's basketball, right? When she came out of college.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the Liberty, gets drafted number 1, blah, blah, blah. She got hurt, a couple games in, right? A couple weeks or games in, she was injured. So her star, she was sat out the rest of the year. Her star kind of dimmer. What do we expect from Caitlin Clark? Is she at obviously she had 12 million people tuned in, not her alone, but 12 million people tuned in to watch the game between LSU and Iowa. And then all that went into there. How some of that was last year's competition. They went to see the results of, the rematch of that game. But does Caitlin Clark move the needle to now get more people tuned in to WNBA at the beginning of next season?
For sure.
You're going to tune in?
I won't tune in any more than I would have initially, but she will. But
how many WNBA games did you watch last year?
6, 7.
Okay. Out of what? 200 games that they might have had?
Well, I mean, yeah, they had a full schedule. I didn't watch every game. I watched some playoffs games. I watched some games in the middle of the season.
And my dad, Seattle was like 4-time champions. Those are 4-time champions up there, right? Yeah. So I mean, you have a little bit more impetus to watch. So I mean, does she move the needle? I don't know.
Yeah, more people will watch because they want to see what she's capable of doing at the next level.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I mean, I actually covered
saying that she was the participant in the most watched college women's basketball game ever.
Yeah. But there was more to it.
She's not going to move the needle in the WNBA fans.
Right. That's exactly what. That's exactly what.
You see how that's contradictory, and it's.
No, but obviously there was a rematch of the last year's championship game.
Okay.
There was some racial component.
One of the participants was Caitlin Clark.
I'm sorry.
But one of the participants was Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, she was one of the participants.
So how is she not going to move the needle at the next level in the WNBA?
That's what I'm not sure she does. I mean, the WNBA is going to be played during the summertime. Right now, the college basketball, this is the Final Four, one of the premier events in American sports. So it's kind of fits with America's kind of content calendar.
The female version of Rocky is not going to move the needle in the WNBA for real.
Again, Cleveland. The WNBA is played during the summertime when there's a lot more going on in summers in the cities across America. There's a lot more going on, and a lot of what's going on isn't people attending or tuning in to WNBA games. That's an historical fact. That's not, you can't really argue that. And I'm saying, yes, I don't know that. Huh?
I said should move the needle. More people will watch than watch last year.
More people watch the WNBA than watched last year.
Yeah.
Okay, if you say so. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that because there's been again Sabrina Ionescu was kind of the girl who trained under Kobe. Everybody wanted to see what she's going to do in the league, and her injury obviously slowed down her rookie season in the WNBA. But I mean, a lot of these girls come in the WNBA, and the WNBA, and I'm not shitting on the WNBA as a brand itself. I'm just kind of saying that the timing isn't great, and that's kind of my point there. So for the men's tournament, I mean, are you? I'm gonna ask you this question: are you a believer in NC State yet? Now, have you won some money? Have you went to the other side? Have you at least put some money down on NC State since they've been disappointing you for 3 weeks? Still not a believer. And you okay, all right, fans. Are you a believer in Big Edie? You still think? I mean, he put up 40 points, right? Like,
yeah, Zach can do his thing. Yeah, for sure.
What's his ceiling in NBA? Is he just a bench player? He might get.
I've heard this go round and round, and it's kind of weird. I mean, I've heard Kenny Smith say, "Man, if you just give him 4 minutes a quarter," and then I've heard Arenas say he's like.
But don't listen. You listen to Kenny Arenas. Actually, you actually listen to that.
I don't actually listen to that podcast, but I heard like an excerpt was like he was like going to be like Bogdanovich, like
well, who Bogdanovich?
What's the man's name? Bobo with the goldfish. You know, he's on the State Farm commercials. What's that man's name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
He's like 7'7".
Boban.
Yeah. They're saying he's going to be like Boban. I'm like, no, I think
Boban is 7'7". There's a difference there. There's a difference there.
But they're saying that his productivity is going to be on the same level as Boban. I'm like, no, I think he's like way better than that dude. Just saying. Yeah, I think his skill set is probably better. 15 minutes a game. That seems kind of conservative, right?
No, that's about accurate. Actually, I believe Kenny Smith.
Yeah, so you think he's like a marginal like bench player? Like sometimes he comes in and sometimes he doesn't. And
if he's drafted by the right team, he'll be lucky. He'll be lucky to get his 12 to 15 points a game. If he's drafted by the right team, he's lucky to get his 12 to 15 points a game. He's not going in the first round. I doubt. I mean, because he is 7'2", he might get taken by
7'4". I'm pretty sure he's going in his first round, but we can get chummy about it for sure.
No, I don't have that much confidence in. But yeah, he's not a starter. He's not a starter in the NBA. He's definitely not a starter in the NBA. You're not claiming that, are you?
I don't know what team is going to draft him and how they're going to use him.
Yeah, I think if he gets drafted by the right team, he'd be lucky to get his 15 minutes a game. Lucky. And that's coming off the bench to get second rounders. I mean, he's going to play every single game of summer league because he's going to need some reps. Cleveland, this know how they do in NBA. This is not when you got years of taking NFL. See what you can do, and they trust what they see in the tape, and they just want to see more of it. When you're 4 years in college, Cleveland, you come in NBA, you're a scrub. For all intents and purposes, yes, you have talent, yes, you have size, but you play 4 years in college. You're like a scrub. Am I wrong?
That's a valid point. And I think it pertains to almost all of the instances with which you're talking. I just think 7'4" is a little bit unique. I think he didn't particularly care for where he was going to get drafted last year. And I think that he had some things to prove to himself and work on and show the scouts in the NBA. And I think that he has done that to this point.
So I don't have the stat in front of me, but there's only like 3 players to score have 30-point games back to back. There's only
30
like
and 15. It's him and Wilt. You
There
don't
you
have
go.
to look too far.
Okay, but he scored 40. He finished that game off with 40 points that last game.
Yeah, and that's college. That's because college kids. So you don't want to like project too much into that. I just think that if any team needs like a low post presence and rebounds and defense, like you like, he's a viable candidate for that. I think you can get 20 minutes at least.
No,
and on the right team. I mean,
no. If you ideally had a fit for, if you could put him on a team, I mean, I'm thinking of one team specifically that he could go to. If you could put him on one team and to get those 20 minutes a game, where would you put him?
Toronto.
Oh, come on. The hell? What the hell Toronto Raptors going to do with him?
Embrace him.
He might get 40 minutes a game in Toronto. I mean, come on. What are they going to do?
They're going to embrace the skill set and be nice to him.
Unlike
they would in some other cities in the NBA.
Be nice to them. So you want him to go to a place where there's no expectations. There's no pressure on him performing in big moments.
Where there's not a realistic expectation upon him, and they'll give him an opportunity to fail and not ridicule him about it. They'll pat him on the back and say, "That's all right, homie, you're trying." I mean, what's DeAndre Ayton doing for all that money and all that skill set and all of that talent? Who would you rather have?
That's a tough one. I mean, that's a very good point, Cleveland. But I think I personally thought DeAndre Phoenix got rid of him too soon. Okay. I personally thought that DeAndre Ayton
did they?
Huh?
But now that you see him in Portland, did they?
I mean, well, he's not in a winning conducive situation. Like, he's not in a winning situation.
Now he's your iguana, your chameleon. He has to be just the perfect environment for him to flourish.
No. What I saw out of him playing in his rookie year,
he never won pick in the draft. Why does that have to be all perfect for him?
Again, what I saw from DeAndre Ayton in his rookie season, I could live with. He didn't get along with Monty Williams. He wanted to be more the star, if you remember correctly. He wanted to be more. When they made the finals, he wanted more responsibility. He ignored the fact that he was playing with Devin Booker. Like, no, you're playing with Devin Booker. like, you're not going to get more shots than that guy. Okay? Yeah. You're not, for whatever I think of Devin Booker, you're not getting more shots than that guy. Okay? So now if somebody could have got to him early enough, say, listen, your role. If you want to score, you get the rebound and dunk on somebody. That's how you score if you can get 20 points a game by getting 10 rebounds and 10 dunks. If you can do that, I'm all for it. But you play defense and getting rebounds. And but he wanted to tell the coach, no, you pass the ball down to the big guy. And that was the direction that they were taking the Phoenix Suns. Okay. In Portland, he was a throwing in a trade. So they weren't building a team around him in Portland. Okay. I was thinking if he went to if your guy went to Edie went to I still think the Warriors gave up too early on Wiseman.
Warriors is another good fit.
But I think if he went to the Warriors, he could have some success with the Warriors.
And he's in the Bay, so again, they would support him. Wouldn't tear him down.
You see how well they supported Wiseman, right? You see how well?
No, but this is more like a Jeremy Lin factor, though. They will support him.
Yeah, I think that would be a good fit for him because he's the size that they sorely lack and sorely miss. And then if he can play defense and be the rim protector and grab you some rebounds, boy.
Rim protecting comes with 7'4", homie.
That's what I'm saying. If he could actually do that, but I think he's kind of too slow of foot in the NBA. I'm not sure he can keep up with that speed. That's why I think he's going to be a bench player and get 15
Well,
minutes.
I didn't say right away. I mean, it's going to take some time to develop.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. That was too long, Zach Edey conversation. But isn't it funny, Cleveland? Did I say this 2 weeks ago? That your guy, DJ Burns, I could see him running routes to the NFL. Did I say that not 2 weeks ago, Cleveland? And then now they're talking about it on NFL Network, and now it's all this big story. Like, is that not the easiest thing to see?
They're recruiting him. They see a natural transition from one to the other, and it's not. I mean, certain players are good for that, and size matters for sure. But
I mean, I think his toughness
strikes me as a football player. I mean,
his toughness has to play. I mean, who can tell? You can't really tell your toughness in the basketball uniform. Like, yeah, and put on the uniform and have a couple plays, and you. They say that offensive tackle.
Yeah. Plus, when's the last time you played football? So, I mean, the Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez's, they all actually, played a little bit of football.
Your Graham, who played at the University of Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't, irregardless when's the last he played, I'm not putting him on the offensive line. Like, what are you guys thinking about? Like, that's preposterous to put him on the offensive line and say block one of these baddest, Max Crosby, block some of these guys coming off the defensive end. I had an argument. I had this conversation with years ago. Roger Saffold played. He played guard for the Los Angeles Rams, and then he left there and went to the Tennessee Titans. But I asked him straight up, who are the most athletic players on the football team? And it kind of came up in conversation. I didn't directly ask him that question. It kind of came up we were having a conversation. Like, he was a cool dude and that I could talk to. Like, Zoo is I can go talk to Zoo and kind of get a lot of answers without asking a question, if that makes sense. But I asked him that direct question, but it came up in a conversation. And he's like, I bet you would say a DB or wide receiver, right? I bet you would say that was the first people that I was like, well, I would kind of think running back, to be honest with you. He's like, no. It's your defensive end and your offensive tackle. Like, these offensive tackles to block, first of all, it's the defense. He said, I'm gonna give the nod to defensive end. But for the guy to block the defensive end, the offensive tackle, like, you have to be quick, you have to be strong, you have to be agile, because those guys are coming. Their burst is so good. They're coming at 100 miles per hour right now, trying to get past you. These are grown men trying to knock out the quarterback. So the receivers, sure, they have some athleticism to them, but they're doing their stuff in open space. The defensive end and the offensive tackle, they're doing that in a scrum in a box, right? So I was like, I started looking at it. I have to agree with that. And the Kevin Max, the Joey Bosa, the Nick Bosa's that coming after the quarterback, the guys blocking these guys, if you don't have a good guy, obviously we know from the story of Lawrence Taylor, if you don't have who elevated that offensive tackle position, if you don't have a guy who can block a Lawrence Taylor type player, like, yeah, your offense is going to be in trouble. And that guy is probably the most athletic. What are they? 6'6"? Javon Curse, the freak, 6'6", 240, 250, coming off the edge, able to hit his body like that to get around these big dudes. He kind of sold me on that. He kind of sold me on that. You put DJ Burns in that situation? Come on, there's no chance he could block these guys. Especially if he hasn't done that. I don't know when he played in middle school, but if he hasn't done that since middle school,
Cameron, if he's not playing tight end, then there's no conversation. He's not playing.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. But with the talk I heard is they like, oh, he would be an awesome offensive tackle.
No,
and I'm like,
no way.
No, I don't see that. Yes, he has to play tight end.
He's not even that heavy to play offensive.
No, he's like he was like 6'9", 297, 290. He's a big dude now. He's a big dude. He has the size for it. But if you don't have if you haven't been practicing that footwork, that expertise, that's not something you could pick up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You just don't become an offensive tackle in the NFL. That just doesn't wake up. We're going to make you offensive. That doesn't happen. So yeah, you're absolutely right. If he's not playing tight end,
300 pounds. I don't know if he's 300 pounds.
Check it out. Look it up. 297, I think, was the last number I heard. And who knows? I mean, look it up. But Cleveland, if he can, clearly he has hands. He can catch the ball and try to play around the rim. That tells me his footwork works. He has good footwork, right? So he can come and kind of just turn your body into short yardage and catch a short route. I mean, clearly 275. Excuse me, I said 290.
That's way too light.
But clearly he doesn't have to. I'm not looking for him to run. He doesn't have to run. I don't care what his 40 time is. You don't need to. You need to post up in the short yardage. If it's 3rd and 6, I need you to run.
And
7 yards.
You have to have a team that understands how to utilize a tight end, and you have seen so many teams that don't understand that.
Well, some that don't have one, but yeah, I think he can play the tight end tomorrow.
Or what do they want you to do? Seahawks with Jimmy Graham, block people they can't really block.
Well, yeah, again, and that's what I'm saying. You can't put him on the offensive tackle and expect.
Yeah, you don't want to check your middle linebacker, and that's sometimes they put them in adverse situations.
Yeah,
I from what I have seen, he seems like a really nice guy. Get your cheese overseas if you can. Play in the league on the bench for some team for a couple of years. Parlay this into a broadcasting career. It's not necessarily playing professional football.
You said maybe you can parlay into a broadcasting career. Hopefully, what you're called. No, I mean,
how is that being called? I mean, isn't that his future for real? He's a big, charismatic guy.
I don't know. I haven't heard him talk at all.
Yeah. Big charismatic guy, plays the piano, plays all kinds of instruments, loves the kids. I mean, reads children's books. He's that kind of guy, man.
Okay. Yeah. Go overseas. I don't see him getting drafted. If I don't believe Edie can make the league and be productive in the NBA, I certainly don't think he could. I don't see people want to compare him, make the natural comparison to Zebo. He's not Zebo. Zebo actually, this kid has post moves, and his post moves are against.
He's not 20 and 10 in the league. He's not an all-star.
So. No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Zebo
I've heard those same comparisons because they're big, kind of round guys, not
Zebo had post moves. He had professional post moves. This guy's post moves are coming against college kids.
Yeah, and it was proven, in the grindhouse for for like 5-6 years in a row.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's not Zebo.
No.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know, but I'd like to see him. I could see him wearing a 87 coming across the middle. Like nobody really gonna want to tackle that dude because I know he has the hands because he played basketball. I know he has footwork because he does have low post moves, so he can play tight end. Are we running to a side when it's in the game? Probably not, because I'm not exactly that hunger and toughness piece. That is, you can't gauge that on the basketball court, and that's a whole. You can't. Does he want to do that? I don't know. Real quick for those guys who missed the show on Sunday, the fight card we saw, we got it April 20th, 420. We got Devin Haney versus your guy Ryan Garcia, which should be a wash, but I'm hoping to have a conversation with Ryan Garcia trainer Derek James here before that fight goes on. So stay tuned for that, fans. But we had Pitbull Cruz KO Rolly Romero in the 7th round. He actually had him buzzed in the 1st round. Rolly hugged him for a couple rounds, and lasted to the 7th round before he got knocked out. Rolly Romero, in my anticipation, much as I like Darren James, I don't think he's going to be able to coach Ryan Garcia up into a win. And so I think Rolly Garcia would be a good fight because they're two kind of guys that has talked their way into major pay-per-view matches that probably didn't deserve them. Ryan Garcia actually has done it twice impressively against your guy Tank Davis and now Devin Haney. Again, I don't think he should have been in the ring with either one of these guys, but he has his fight coming up with at the end of the month, April 20th in Brooklyn with Devin Haney, who should wash him. Rolly Romero, him and Ryan Garcia should fight. Rolly Romero, they're both average fighters at best. That would be a decent fight because we see two average fighters kind of duking it out. That's why that would be a good fight. But then the fight of the night was the main fight. Fundora, who was called up to fight Tim Tszyu, who was a 2-belt champion. Fundora was called out because Keith Thurman tore his bicep muscle, so he had to be substituted in the fight. Fundora stepped up, took the advantage. Initially, I mean, it wasn't a good match it wasn't a Phoenix is going to win this game 120-101 with 20 seconds to go in the game over the Cleveland Cavaliers. So good job, Phoenix, I guess. But Fundora stepped up took the fight against Tim Tszyu. The fight went the distance. Tim Tszyu dominated the first 2 rounds, bloodied Sebastian Fundora's mouth up, busted his nose up, caught him with a couple. He had his timing down. Fundora is a big guy, 6'5", who likes to get in there and brawl. Typically doesn't use his defense or uses his arm reach and the reach he has to kind of create range in his fights. Typically has never done that. Fundora, the first round, it took him the first round. Second round, he kind of got his timing right and caught Fundora with a couple good blows right in the mouth. Boom, boom, boom. And then again, he was bloody and busted up his nose. In the second round, late in the second round, Tim Tszyu, because he's fighting a bigger guy, kind of ducked and threw one of his haymakers at it, kind of caught Fundora's elbow. It was an inadvertent elbow, but it was an elbow. Fundora did elbow Tim Tszyu in the head and just created a ugly gash on Tim Tszyu's head, just an ugly gash, right? Not on his forehead, but on his head, actually. It was an ugly gash that just opened up, and they couldn't stop the bleeding. They could not stop the bleeding in either rounds. It bled all fight long. It was in the third round. You saw Tim Tszyu from the third round on. Tim Tszyu was trying to wipe the blood from streaming down his eye into his eyes. He admitted afterwards that he couldn't see. It turned into an ugly brawl. But what happened was, so the cut slowed Tim Tszyu down. He couldn't really see. And the stream of blood just kept flowing. But Fundora, from that second round on, began to use his reach, began to use his distance, staying away from Tszyu. That was the smartest fight. I tweeted that before the fight started. Like, Fundora has to stay away from he has to fight his own instincts and not try to get in there and bang with Tim Tszyu, because he was not going to win that fight. That fight would have probably went 5 rounds had Tszyu not got hurt, because Tszyu was going to knock him out. However, once he got the cut, Fundora started using his distance, creating space, using his range, connecting with Tim Tszyu. That cut continued to bleed. Fundora continued to win rounds after rounds after round. Tim Tszyu probably won. I'm not looking at my scorecard, but I probably had Tim Tszyu won in the first 2 rounds. He probably won 2 or 3 rounds the rest of the fight. It was Fundora dominated the fight. It's a fight worth watching. Not the greatest fight, not not gonna hype it up to be one of the fights ever. It's definitely worth watching. Fedora fought in a very disciplined fight to again stay away from Tim Tszyu, use his reach, use his distance to kind of outpoint him. It did go to distance, and he won a unanimous decision. And right after the fight, they had Earl Spence jump in the ring, saying that they're trying to hype up the fight for Earl Spence and Sebastian Fedora, which would not be a good fight. I think Tim Tszyu should get a chance to heal up, and then they run it back. I mean, it would only be fair. Tim Tszyu actually saved that card by accepting the fight Sebastian Fedora. Once Keith Thurman pulled out of the fight, Tim Tszyu could have said, "I'm good. I'm not going to fight. I'll wait till Thurman gets. I'll wait till he gets healed." He fought Tim Tszyu fought Fedora, who's a 6'5" left-hander, not anybody he was training for 12 days before the fight. So he had to accept that fight for it to go on. For them to have a fight card, PBC, Amazon Prime to have a fight card, Tim Tszyu had to accept that match. If he didn't accept them, that's what I'm saying. He saved that card by accepting that fight. But he accepted the fight, and if not for the ugly cut, he wins the fight. But the ugly cut happens. Now he loses his belt. Some say, well, the rules go in boxing is after the fourth round, the fight you can go to the scorecard. Well, the way it went, Tim Tszyu won the first 2 rounds. Sebastian Fedora won the 3rd round. The 4th round was kind of questionable. I give it to Tim Tszyu, kind of more guts than anything else. But it could have been just a draw after that. If they stop the fight at that point in the 5th round and Tim Tszyu says, "I can't see, I'm not fighting," it's a draw. He wins his belt. It's like it didn't happen, right? He retains his belt. Then Crawford or Spence is trying to fight Tim Tszyu for the belt because he still has the 2 belts. Well, he ended up losing his belts. So now he has to fall back in line with no belts and try to get somebody to fight him. Well, everybody knows he's a dangerous fighter. That's why nobody wanted to fight him before. And so they're not going to be in a hurry to fight him, especially now that he has something to prove. So it's kind of the shady side of boxing where I personally think you're running back to Fedora. However, Fedora would be belt champion has a chance to fight either Terrence Crawford, which would make a lot of money, or Errol Spence, which would make a lot of money. Fighting Tim Tszyu isn't going to make the money he would make with either of those fights. What's your thoughts on the situation?
Yeah, it's political. And like we were saying on Sunday, these are, affiliated fighters with PBC. So it's in their best interest to try to make that happen. And they already understand that if their best fighter fights either Bud Crawford or Tszyu, that's a loss. So they feel like this is an opportunity for Errol Spence to get, 2 belts back and then, just be arrogant enough to, just say I'm the champion and not fight anybody.
Well, in the case that if they did that, they'd have to give up one of the belts because they'd have to vacate one of the belts, the WBO belt. But nonetheless, they still have a champion. They still have a champion in-house, and that's probably what's going to happen, which is not right, but that's kind of the state of boxing.
State of boxing, yeah.
That's the state of boxing. So as shitty as that would be, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at. We'll see. We'll know more here in the coming weeks. But the next fight card on the docket is definitely want to watch would be, Point Zion. Go. I didn't see what happened. Oh, he walked to the locker room, but he came back out. Who's this? We got Point Zion and the Magic. Just seeing highlights of that. Looked like the Magic was up 15 on these guys. Here's Point Zion. I'm sorry, fans. Just kind of give you guys just seeing some highlights. Still 14-point game. With Point Zion dunking, looking healthy late in the game, so that I guess that injury didn't matter not much. or he looked like he recovered from the injury. Still, Orlando wins this game pretty convincingly. It looks like with Paulo just going to work. They can't stop Paulo. They can't. They don't see how many points he scored because I'm not seeing anything but highlights. Paulo 32 and 6. Williamson 15 and 5. Injured. He had injured finger is what he ended up for. Sorry, fans. So yeah, that was the state of boxing. But the next fight card to watch is Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney on the 20th of April in Brooklyn. We'll see how that goes. That's the same night that the NBA playoffs start, and I was planning on the Clippers having to play New Orleans,
and they still may. We don't know. It's a lot of games left here.
Not many games left. That's the problem.
It's killing me as much as it's killing you.
That's the problem, man. I had my hotel room booked for the Bayou. I was headed to the Bayou till Dallas went on this remarkable run, and I mean Dallas is not a bad place to go this time of year, but shit, the Bayou, I can drive to the Bayou. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's your guys, man.
I mean, right now it's Clippers versus Dallas, but I'd rather the Clippers have to come to the Bayou,
New Orleans.
That makes an easier trip. So as Danger Point Zion will be, and I need them to stay away from Dangerous Luka right now. They need to stay away from Larry Luka. Cleveland. Let me check this out before fans. We made an edict a couple seasons ago. We do not talk Mariners baseball unless what, Cleveland?
They're about 500, which they are not.
Did they lose two games in a row?
Yes,
they were 3-2. They were 3-2 just last night. They lost both games in a row, Cleveland.
Yes, they lost 2 games in a row to the Cleveland Indians.
Oh my goodness, how terrible! How sad is that, Cleveland? Well, I'm gonna break the code, man. It's the first week of the season. I'm gonna break 2, 3, and 4. Oh my goodness, what's wrong with your Seattle Mariners? Go ahead and let the people know. Go ahead with your Mariner minute, man.
Starting pitching has failed them. Their number 1 starters lost 2 of those 4 games. Their second best pitcher got roughed up today. They haven't scored any runs.
I thought they had like 7 deep in pitching.
That was last year. This year, they have 3 of the top 20 projected pitchers in baseball, but one of those pitchers hasn't won a game and has an ERA over 4 already.
Ooh.
So,
Where were they at? Were they in Cleveland or in Seattle?
Nope, 7-game homestand, 3 and 4.
7-game homestand. You start the season 3 and 4.
2-2 against the Red Sox. 1-2 against the Indians. I'm sorry, the Guardians.
I don't know what to say, fans. I don't know what to say. This is kind of expected, I guess, huh? This is kind of.
I'm not emotionally vested in this team. If they do some things, great, but I don't see what everyone else is looking at. The optimism that the media is trying to portray. I just don't.
I mean, well, that's the media. The media was there a couple seasons ago. They saw that beautiful stadium. They saw how they, apparently too many of them had the chocolate crickets. They could look out over from right field and look and see Lake Union. And I mean, that's a beautiful scenery. It's beautiful scenery they have.
Top 10 ballpark in Major League Baseball.
I don't know. Is the sounder still pass through in the 7th inning and the horn? Give you the train horn.
Yeah,
that's
what's going on. Yeah,
I mean, you can look from the left, look over and see the freeways, and they have the fancy retractable roof. I don't understand how the retractable roof plays into it when it's still outdoors. I mean, it's still, what is it, 35 this week, 40 degrees this week.
It was a little warmer. It's really more for the precipitation, Cameron, as you should know.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's still a little chilly outside. Like you thought, he's still. I mean, it's
What
still a
home,
little
home
chilly
field
outside.
advantage, Cam? Home field advantage. They ain't
I
ready for
mean,
it.
home field advantage. This is baseball. Like it's supposed to be the summertime, right? The game is summertime.
Summertime sport, but
They
yeah.
need a dome. They need a dome.
Oh wow.
But I can't say it. I can't say in July if you're sitting in the right field, you're able to look over into Lake Union. You can easily just daydream about the views out there. It's a wonderful date spot. It's a wonderful dating opportunity. I can say that.
Yeah,
However, if you
Puget
look down on
Sound.
the
I'm
field,
sorry, Lake Union's a little far out of the eye shot.
what
But
are you
Puget
looking at?
Sound,
You're looking right at like the Puget Sound.
yeah,
Same shit. Looking out of the same shit. Yeah. See, Boots saw the scene. He saw the
it's a
scenery.
top 10 ballpark, Boots.
You saw the scenery. It's a beautiful stadium, Boots. It's a beautiful stadium. But I think the high school teams in Seattle should be playing on that field because they'll get more wins. The high school teams will get more wins in that field than the Mariners will. The Mariners absolutely stink, Boots. Absolutely stinks, and you'll hear me say it all season long. Well, we won't be talking much about the Mariners. I just do. The season is a brand new season. We don't talk about the Mariners unless they're over 500, and they're not over 500 today. But I want to give Cleveland a little shot at his Mariners, so he doesn't get too mad that we're not talking baseball. I mean, so I want to give him a shot. And I looked at when I built my script last night. There were 3-2. They went ahead and lost last night, and then today. Sad state of affairs. Sad state of affairs. But it's a beautiful go. June, July, and August, Boots. Go to Seattle, June, July, and August. You'd want to move there. I promise you that. Anytime after that, any other 9 months, it's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. Would you agree, Cleveland?
You gotta like the rain in the clouds for at least 9 months.
Cleveland, each and every week we end the show with a quote. Thank you guys for tuning in. Boots, Barry, Boxing fan, thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast, week 286 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Here's a quote I want to end you guys in the show with from one of my favorite authors around Cleveland. Make the most of yourself, for that's all there is of you. One more time, make the most of yourself, Cleveland, for that's all there is of you. And that's from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Just saying, be the best you can be. You've heard that, be all you can be. Wasn't that the Army's slogan for the military? Be all you can be. It said, make the most of yourself, for that's all there is of you. Focus on something else is futile. Fans, I want to thank you guys again for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. We enjoy doing the show. We enjoy having you guys be a part of the show each and every week. Tell a friend about the podcast, because we to grow the show, man. No, thank you again, Boots. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend and tell a friend about the show. We make this content for you. You can follow us on H&B Media TV if you're not. If you already are, or you Voice of the Fans on YouTube. We also check out voiceofthefans.org for exclusive articles. Once again, thank you guys for your time. Let's give Cleveland a round of applause for being part of the show tonight. And as always, fans, thank you for making our voice your choice.